right, hello and welcome on in to another episode of course, DCU Daily and Oh So Curious. We got a lot of MCU stuff to talk about today, of course. The biggest thing, the biggest news in, all of entertainment today, of course, is the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. And it dropped today, all the fanfare, it crashed a bunch of websites. If you're trying to buy your tickets, hopefully you found some. I got one of the early screening tickets. We'll talk about that as well, because Amazon's doing a special early screening the day before everybody else will be able to go see it. And of course, we will break down all the Easter eggs, the new details that we found out from the new trailer, including Sadie Sink's character, more about the Punisher, everything else beyond that. Of course, we will also get into Supergirl. We know now what the social media embargo, when the social media embargo is going to be dropping. So we'll get into that and so much more. Of course, beyond that, we have to talk about, a bunch of other news, like there's what's going on with possibly an Austin Powers 4, and Key and Peele were going to work on a Police Academy reboot. What happened to that? We get it. We'll talk about that as well. And of course, we have some box office predictions for Toy Story 5. It's set to have potentially the biggest opening weekend of the year. Well, at least until Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out. That might make that kind of money on its first day alone if the sales numbers are anything to go by. So to do that and so much more, of course, as always, let's get this show started with Ryan Gosling and co.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the world needs now.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, welcome on in. We already have Monique in the chat, so of course, welcome on in, Monique. Thank you for joining us. Of course, if you are coming in right now, please do hit that like button while you're here, because we do appreciate that as well, of course. So it's a busy day. We've got a lot of Spider-Man stuff to talk about. Robert Downey Jr. actually talked a little bit about Avengers Endgame. We'll get into that as well. And we have some more X-Men news, the Marvel X-Men movie, the MCU X-Men movie, where that's going to be, when is it going to go into pre-production? We have some news on that. And of course, like I mentioned, a ton of quick hits today. There's even, a thing about SAG-AFTRA, the signing on in support of a bill in Congress about anti-deepfake, laws, basically, so that celebrity deepfakes don't keep, flooding the internet as they have been for now with AI, even more so than the last few years. So we'll get into all of that and so much more. But to kick things off, of course, with me as always, I've got John. How are you doing today?
Fine and dandy. Foot is getting better, but today wasn't very productive, which was not great. But it's win some, lose some. So whatever, it's okay.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Well, Monique said hi, and this is what she was up to today. A wonderful Wednesday. It's the beef sausage cabbage stir fry with everything bagel sauce, jumbo salt crushed baked potatoes. Wow. As always, very, very envious of the meal that Monique has put together. But with that, I did want to quickly shout out Fancast Friday. The poll is up. I can't believe the FIFA World Cup star biopic's idea is currently winning, but I did see at last check that DCU Jessica Cruz had picked up on
that. Thank God. So there's some people with semblance of there's some good old Americans out there who don't give a fuck about soccer actually still voting in the polls.
I mean, come on, right? Like Colombia's playing Uzbekistan in Mexico City right now.
Great, don't care. Fuck soccer. I'm an American. Fuck soccer.
I mean, the thing is happening in the U.S. There's a whole league
I don't
in America.
care.
Messi, one of the best players of all time, plays for Inter Miami. John, I'm just saying. I am just saying. But all right, before we go too far down this rabbit hole, John, I know you wanted to kind of talk about this right off the top. Some unfortunate news before we get into all the MCU talk. Yeah, don't piss on the World Cup. Well, see, I'm
I
only
will
gonna have
piss
same thing
in
with
the
that.
World Cup and then I'll force others to
It's
drink it.
but that's the thing, John. It's not actually a cup, so you can't really. Anyway, you know what? It
And
goes to show
that's
how much
it's
you
I
know
know
about
it's a cup.
sports.
It's
So
whatever.
I think you say I think it's pronounced Davy Chase. Davy
Yeah,
Chase.
Davy Chase. I
Davy
looked it
Chase.
up.
She just
She
passed
was
away at the
famously
age of
the voice
35.
of
Wow.
Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, and she was
Yeah.
also the girl in The Ring, the one who climbs out of the TV. She unfortunately passed away today at the age of 35. According to her boyfriend, she had a long battle with meningitis and
Wow.
various blood infections,
Yeah.
and she unfortunately succumbed to those either early this morning or late yesterday, which is a shame because someone very, very, very,
Very
very
young.
young at
God,
the
that's
the age
she
of
was.
35,
It's
only
only a
6
few
years
years
older
for
than
where
me.
I am.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's makes you kind of like feel like, hey, you know what, the here and the now, and appreciate what you have. But terrible news. Even though the Ring will always haunt me forever in my nightmares. But Debbie Chase, too young, gone far too soon.
She has
And
done plenty of amazing
yeah,
roles, but these were her two
I mean,
biggest,
Donnie
obviously.
Darko,
But
Big
yeah,
Love. So she was a big child star, of course, and who knows? I mean, she may have had some of her best work ahead of her. So it's unfortunate that her life got cut short. But our condolences go out to her friends and family, her boyfriend, who I'm sure would be just probably just devastated
yeah.
at the age of 35. So our best wishes go out to the Chase family.
Hmm.
With that, I did want to quickly mention the reaction videos of people coming to the US are hilarious. I've seen a lot of those.
Yes, they are.
The Scottish folk, ran Boston's beer dry, in a manner of speaking, and now the English folk will be showing up because their next game is in Boston. It's not really Boston because I mean, even though they did go to the Red Sox game, the Scots did, but the games are happening in Foxborough where the Patriots play, which is actually closer to Providence if you like in Rhode Island than it is to Boston if you want to do the math on the driving. Anyway, that's all the World Cup talk for now. Let's move on to the biggest news of the day. Let's talk about some MCU Weekly stuff. Of course, with that, right on, we're gonna jump straight into talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day, John. Of course, we
Mhm.
talked about it yesterday. They've been teasing it for a week. There was a big fan event today, and then it was like pretty late in the afternoon on the East Coast. I was expecting they would drop at like 9 a.m. or maybe noon that we usually do, but they did wait until that fan event happened. And then so Spider-Man Brand New Day, they dropped a trailer, and well, it immediately went on to pretty much crash a bunch of websites. Why? Not just because it wasn't just the trailer, because the trailer obviously is huge. The trailer's got
Yes.
tons of views, millions of views already. But the trailer was being released in concert with the tickets going on sale for the movie as well. So, keeping that in mind, of course, we have the trailer here to talk about. I think that's a good place to start. Let's talk about the trailer, then we'll get into all the other things. I'm gonna go first, John. I'll kind of give my quick overview, and then I want to hear from you, and then let's maybe kind of dive into some of the details, things that we found out from the trailer, because honestly, there's some really good new information that we did not know, or some theories that were confirmed by this trailer, and then it also does leave you with a few more questions. Hi, Steven, saying, John, is it true you want it, then act like you mean it with everyone? Thank you, Steven. And hello, Figure Drawing, a Spider-Man brand new $1 billion movie. Yeah, $2 billion probably. I mean, the early projections are 1.5 billion, which can only go up from there. So hey, which is great. It would definitely be, in a very exclusive company if it hit $2 billion. There's only like 3 other movies that are in that category. 2 Avatar and 1 Avengers film, that is. But let's talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. John, I thought the trailer was wonderful. To me, I was already convinced based on what I had seen so far, but I'll be honest with you, the last trailer, the VFX looked a little unfinished at times. And they definitely showed a lot more of like the beginning moments. You could tell that a lot of the sequences that you got were from like the first 10 minutes of the show or of the movie. And you weren't getting a whole lot from, later in the film, which is fine. Like usually that's what Marvel does. But overall, I mean, we don't yet know who the big villain is. I mean, obviously we know like the hand in the trailer. They do show the hand. They do show more of the Hulk. You do get to see some of the other villains, especially the fight with Scorpion, which, nobody, thought that it was going to be a significantly, a big part of the movie, in the sense that it wasn't going to, I don't know, like put Spider-Man in the hospital or anything. And we find out that he's able to sort of work his way through that side villain, if you want to call him, pretty quickly. Overall, I thought this trailer gave us a better idea of some of the things I've been teasing with the images, like with MJ and Spider-Man, and we don't know if she finds out if he's Peter Parker or not. We get a much better idea of like how he's struggling with the organic webbing, and that it's more than just the webbing. It's obviously messing with him physically. I am really interested in seeing how Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner's interactions with him go, because it does seem like he susses out that, hey, indeed, Spider-Man might not actually be a student in one of his classes. Whether he goes to ESU or not is another thing. But yeah, I wonder if, because Bruce Banner has interacted with Peter Parker before. I don't know, like some loose capacity in some of those battle scenes in the previous Avengers movie. So all that is going to be interesting. Overall, I will give this trailer, for me personally, a 10 out of 10. I think this trailer did absolutely everything to give us the idea of like, look, this movie is darker, is grounded. This overall, just whether it's thematically, whether it's tonally, whether it's just with the colors, everything all around, it's a movie that feels more mature. Peter Parker feels older, more mature, and like you get to see that he's going through quite a lot personally, psychologically, and I love every moment that we get to see more of John Bernthal's Punisher, and you get a better idea of the relationship that Spider-Man has with him, including how MJ is a part of it all, and then of course Sadie Sink as well, and her character. You get, it's still, they're not giving away exactly who she is, but given what we have seen with the leaked images and such, it does feel like she's a very powerful mutant, and one that Spider-Man he's immune to her powers, which is very interesting to say the least. But I don't know, I gave it a 10 out of 10 because to me this was everything I needed. I already got my early ticket. It was hard to find because most of the seats were sold out and I was a few hours late to the party, but I managed to sneak one in on the 29th of July. John, what are your thoughts on this trailer? How did you react to it, and what parts of it did you enjoy the most?
I really liked most of this trailer. I think it definitely more subdued on the kind of like kind of quote unquote cringy Marvel humor that was slightly more prominent than in the last trailer. Not like a lot or anything like that. There was not a lot, so it's like not even close to that. But I mean, you do have like Mark Ruffalo going the like, all right, bro, calm down. But I really liked this trailer. I would say the only negative thing I have to say is that I don't like the idea of Scorpion being taken down so easily. Now, it could be just doing trailer be trailering, and it's just giving us like some false stuff. And it's like, oh, it's actually, it's he's going to have a bigger role and that kind of thing. That's what I'm hoping for. But this trailer doesn't give me that confidence. And I wish that the suit looked better. But like, that's like neither here nor there. We're not going to get like
too
that.
bad. I mean, and you know what? They might have a secondary, like they might have it like he comes across Spider-Man, loses, and then goes into some upgrades with maybe Tombstone, which we still speculate will be in the movie because we know they cast an actor.
Yeah.
And then maybe Scorpion kind of comes around and has another fight. Because I don't know, would Tombstone fisticuff with Spider-Man himself, or would he be throwing other, guys at him? It's just, I feel like the Scorpion might end up still having a bigger role to play. But
I hope so, but that just like, I'm just going off of vibes for this trailer. But everything else, yeah, peak. Perfect. I can't, like, I know people are like, oh yeah, this movie's gonna suck. I'm like, well, you suck. How about that, bitch boy? Fucker. Like, come on now. This is gonna be peak. It's gonna be peak.
And speaking to that,
outside of the X-Men shit, but like I'm trying to ignore that so I can subdue it, so I can keep my excitement going.
I'm getting the sense that it kind of plays out well in the sense that, because here's the thing, because remember this is something we didn't know before, but this is kind of a funny shot. Like he catches a pigeon while he's swinging through New York City. The flying sequences look nice. The suit actually looks very much like it is a homemade suit. It's kind of loose in some scenes. It gets tighter as the movie goes on. So maybe he does get a bit of an upgrade in terms of the fit, or he kind of figures things out as he goes along. This, of course, is Sadie Sink's character. Here, we have seen some of this before. Some of the shots we've seen.
I will say,
of this.
wait, go back a bit.
Is that
I
Governor's
will
Island that she's on?
say
Yeah.
this is looking Hobgoblin-esque. I'll just leave it at that.
But
Like
like,
the
do you think the
orange hood,
powers? Because
little
also, like, you see what's going
Hobgoblin-esque.
on here. That's not just like Professor X freezing everybody where they stand. There's a physical effect here that is obviously, you see that shockwave, go out all over the, through the water and stuff. What is that island? Is that Governor's Island? Am I wrong about that? Like, that's clearly, where she's being held, wherever that prison is, probably the DODC, and you can see the fairies going around. I don't even. Oh yeah, and then from there you could see, like, it's obviously a physical force. It's not just like a physical representation. And then it seems like, yeah, we see, the Punisher probably will be frozen as part of that as well. But I was gonna mention, John, this, by the way, looks interesting. Is that like Spider-Man getting like the tech upgrades on his, because he doesn't have the Stark tech anymore, but maybe has some of it that he kept,
Or, invented it all his own
that's
because
true,
he
Tony.
doesn't need Senpai Stark to fucking do everything for him. He's smart enough on his own to invent his own tech.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's, MCU logic anyway. But yeah, I mean, telekinesis and telepathy are both things that Jean Grey could do. I personally am looking forward to it. What I was trying to get at is, here's one thing two things I want to mention. I'll start off with the Jean Grey bit. So the part of the trailer where you hear Jean Grey talking to him, through, let me just kind of skip ahead to those images that we have. I think it's like around here. Like, so obviously, we figure out that she is the one who kind of lets the Hulk loose, because that arm device that protects Bruce Banner's, hulking out thing goes away. And then he does the thunderclap, which is great. Clearly, Spider-Man is going to have his hands full with that. But then this whole sequence where he's like trying to get MJ to the Punisher is all about protecting MJ from Jean Grey, or Sadie Sink's character, let's just call it that for now. And Sadie Sink's character is like talking to Spider-Man on the street, like through these other pedestrians. Let me see if I can get to that.
This was a cool shot. That was a fucking cool shot.
This was
where
cool.
He's falling in the air.
Mhm.
That's like literally the whole, like, Spider Noir just came out, and you already got a parallel there with the guy without his suit, Spider-Man without his suit, falling in the air. I'm like, I like what you did there, buddy boy. I see what you did.
Yep.
I see what you did.
No, I hear you. I completely hear you. This is the sequence. This sequence right here, that random stranger on the street starts talking to him as if he knows him. And then I think the line of dialogue is something like you still messing with your head, or did you get to figure out your issues, Spider-Man? And then like another dude walks by and he's like, maybe I'll go, pay MJ a visit. So that says a couple of things, John, because for one, it shows that whoever Sadie Sink is playing, her character does remember who Peter Parker is, does know Peter Parker as Spider-Man, does know what MJ meant to him, and is obvious. So there's either that character is a multiversal character or was not affected by Doctor Strange's spell. Because that, I don't know if that means, like, if what that means one way or the other. It could be that she's still Jean Grey, but she's from a parallel universe.
Right.
But I thought the spell was meant to affect multiple realities. I don't know, John. Like, how did you understand that part? Because obviously, this person seems to be the only other person in the movie, as far as we know, who knows Peter Parker exists.
Yeah.
And Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and that's significant, in terms of how that's gonna play into the rest of the story. Because I don't think the Punisher even knows that Peter Parker is the man behind the mask.
Right.
Like, how do you take that? Like, do you care to speculate? Like, does that mean anything?
I'm still gonna stick with my own theory that that it's being set up that Jean Grey or Sadie Sink's character is some kind of villain, but it's really some unknown villain that Jean Grey is trying to stop. Because it just feels weird to me to make Jean Grey a villain. Like
no,
and I know people
like,
it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. They're like teasing like the Phoenix Force again, which one I don't think they'll do, because that's way too much. Like, especially like that's way too fucking much. Way too much for. But like, I understand Jean Grey has been a villain in the comics, like her clone, her this or that. Comics, they don't make sense. But if we're talking about like basic bitch kind of stuff, and obviously they're not going to do too much because again, at the end of the day, it's still a Spider-Man movie. They're not going to do too much in regards to X-Men canon, X-Men lore, X-Men history. If it is Jean Grey, which maybe the insider scoops are all bullshit and she actually isn't. That's also a good point, but again, I don't think they'll do that because again, it would involve too much lore and people would be too confused. So I'm just gonna go with the hypothetical that she is Jean Grey. They're putting X-Men in my Spider-Man movie for no fucking reason because Kevin Feige hates us. But I'm just gonna say this. My theory is that if it is Jean Grey, if Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, I think they're setting it up that it looks like with all these trailers that she's the villain, but in fact, it's somebody else. And she either jumped reality and it's from her reality to stop it, or like in this world.
You mean like she's not behind the suit?
Exist. It's just like X-Men, Brotherhood of Mutants, all that, like all that lore just doesn't exist. Has happened. But like maybe like Jean Grey exists, maybe Wolverine exists, maybe Cyclops, but they aren't themselves because this is the MCU and they have to reboot everything to bring in the characters and all that. So that's my theory, is that Jean Grey either jumped realities or is a part of this world and like the X-Men were never a thing and she's trying to stop the real villain and she just gets, hitched along for the ride and she looks like the villain. So that's my theory.
Wait, so who's Rachel Summers? I'm not actually familiar with the
Rachel Summers is the daughter of Jean Grey and Cyclops, I believe that's what it is.
Who's the other guy that knows him? Who are we talking about? Who's the Monique? Who do you mean by the other guy that knows him? Unless because it seems like the people that are talking to him on the street are the ones that like, because whoever this character is taking over them telekinetically. I think that's meant to be like how that's meant to play out. I think like where did that go? Like it's around here somewhere. By the way, all the Ned stuff, like Ned is like really trying to figure out who Spider-Man is I do like that. The only dude who seems to know him, you said, well, not dude. I think I was going for more like Sadie Sink's character because it's implied that she's the only one who's got like telekinetic powers. Again, like you said, John, it could be that they're not showing this other character who has the powers, and then Sadie Sink's character. They're kind of playing us because the one thing we haven't seen, I don't think we have seen Sadie Sink's like face in any of the trailers. Like we've just seen like shots from behind, from the side, or in this case, her whole face and everything is dark, and she's wearing like black gloves and everything, which could be like VFX to hide the character. It
most definitely is. It's not going to be that dark in the movie.
Because I'm like, like in the like, why would she be wearing a total black? Like that shot doesn't seem like. I mean, who's to know? I guess ultimately, but because there has been speculations and rumor that it could be a situation that Sadie Sink's character is like how you start out being antagonistic towards another hero and then you eventually figure out like, oh no, he's a good guy. But I think your theory probably makes a lot more sense, that it's a bit of a red herring, that they're trying to like bait and switch us a little bit, which is fine. Trailers, the Marvel is known for doing that. The other thing I guess would be, do you think like with telekinetically kind of messing with Bruce Banner might break the spell for him? Like he might figure out, oh, that's Peter Parker, and I know Peter Parker and everything, because you do see like Peter's social isolation really taking a toll on him, like when he's just hanging out and in his apartment, like looking at the live stream that Ned is doing and all, and he's facing off at least until like 6 other villain or antagonistic forces, including the Hulk, who's obviously not under Bruce Banner's control. I hope that Peter Parker's gonna be okay. Although this movie they do take their time with that whole post scene, like post title sequence, like tag scene like here. This is the first time I feel like in a very long time that I've seen Tom Holland Spider-Man kind of like be the Peter Parker from the comics. The kind of moments, remember like Andrew Garfield when he goes after the thugs in Amazing Spider-Man for the first time, and he's like, you know, just being really jokey and stuff because he's like, clearly I got this, but you know, you guys are cute kind of thing. Those kind of moments. It's like weirdly we haven't seen a lot of that, especially like with, I feel like with No Way Home, the movie was just like constantly going, and then there weren't really a lot of moments where Spider-Man just got like Peter Parker just got to have fun as Spider-Man. Like here he's like, I'm not in high school anymore, let me stretch. You guys stretch, it's really good for you, you ready? And then he goes off on which they look like
that
DODC
definitely
guards,
had
so,
like,
yeah,
it's, oh god, the thing I'm afraid of is small
Yes.
knives. That's
exactly, yeah, the Andrew Garfield,
like
yes.
I'm like, that's
Exactly that,
Spider-Man,
yes.
bro. That is motherfucking Spider-Man. Come on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, dude, I'm sure that I forget the name of that character from Miss Marvel. He's gonna be back in the next saga, or yeah, he was one of the final contenders for Spider-Man.
I like how he
remember
pulls
that.
up his
Hey, Chimera.
spandex too. Like that's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
clearly like pulling it up. Like, ooh, you guys stretch. You know, it's yeah, but like, yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, Andrew Garfield was perfect as Spider-Man. Like, say what you will, maybe the movies weren't that great.
Yeah.
Maybe his Peter Parker was skateboarding douche
Just
hipster
promise
for some reason.
Yeah.
But like,
Hey, Kevin.
he was still peak. Like, he was still fantastic in the role.
I mean, I think Andrew Garfield overall is the better actor in terms of being able to kind of his comedic timing is also really, really good. It's going to be interesting to see how well Tom Holland can do that. I mean, some of the comedy stuff that he's done in this previous.
Are you going to stick with this youth pastor getup, or do you actually like have your costume?
I don't even know. That sounded like something that would have been improvised too, you know. But
I'm willing to bet like half the shit Andrew Garfield said in that fucking movie is you know, improvised.
Well, we know that like the whole "I love you guys" thing was definitely improvised. They're like,
I'm pretty sure the "You are amazing" thing was also like semi-improvised.
You are amazing. Just say it with me. You are amazing. I am amazing. You are amazing. I'm like, yes. Just keep the camera rolling. Let them just ad-lib their way through this. Yeah. I think Andrew Garfield is the best actor to ever play Spider-Man. It's just up until you.
Oh yeah, Andrew Garfield is easily the best. Like,
yeah.
It just, you know, it just. I think with Tobey Maguire, he had the best writing to deal with. That's why a lot of people go back. It's not just for nostalgia. It's just he was overall better written, and that's the thing. It's just like Tobey had the best writing. Andrew Garfield was the best performance, and then Tom Holland
movie spud
is there, but he shows promise for the future.
Yeah, because I was gonna get to this in a second. I'm gonna get to that. The other point I was gonna make of the two things that we were talking about, but. To address what you're saying, Chimera, I think this is also something that the trailers are kind of misleading us about. I think MJ is going to be a part of the movie, but we did hear that she wasn't going to be as big a part of this movie as she has been in the recent ones. And I do think that might still be true because, again, trailers can get... Because it's that thing of, like, she's a big part of these trailers. That doesn't necessarily reflect, like, her total runtime in the movie itself. There might be that she's a big part of the beginning of the movie, and then, you know, once things really pick up and Peter's in the deep shit with like whatever he's trying to figure out and whatever villains he's trying to defeat, it might just be that, you know, her role is only up until like she gets put into a safe house by the Punisher, which they imply in this trailer, which we should probably talk about a little bit more because you do get a lot of Punisher. We do get the Hand. And because this is like where they are, right? Seems like the safe house, like the Punisher is looking after MJ while Peter is doing whatever the hell he's got to do. I think from there on, you're probably not going to see her a lot until maybe towards the end of the movie, or like because I'm just thinking again, it's a bit of a you know, a red herring for us. Although I do think like, you know, the Punisher is going to have some iconic moments. Obviously, we saw he says like, if you're going to do anything,
we're going to have a Punisher.
Do it
yell.
now.
We're definitely going to have a Punisher yell. So
like we got a little more of the van sequence when he's driving the Punisher van. He's like, "You're gonna do something, you better do it now." And we have seen other parts of that whole sequence. Mr. Negative of Jean talks about her to threaten Peter, makes it seem more. No, what I'm saying is like I think that's all true. It just might not be, you know, something that goes beyond a sequence in the film, and then. We're like, I have a feeling like John, you and I have both talked about it, that we probably don't even know who the actual villain of this movie is yet, or if it is indeed the character that's, this mysterious hooded figure, it may yet not be Jean Grey. It just seems like because they kind of wear the same or similar clothing. Hey M2G, how you doing? So the other thing I was going to mention, though, speaking of the Punisher and of course Bruce Banner's Hulk, the trailers don't give me the same concern that I've had with previous movies, which is that Spider-Man is gonna get minimized in his own film. Because I do get the feeling that at least they've been doing a good job of giving us the impression of that in this movie, it is Spider-Man's film. And he's gonna be fighting, I don't know, like we can even count out at least half a dozen different people already that we know about, not to mention maybe this mysterious villain that he's going to do. Of course, you've got, Punisher, we talked about, you've got the Hulk in there as well. But then, there's even the Hand, which by the way, this whole sequence, I can't wait to see what the hand like this shit looks hype. Like that shot goes too fucking hard. I'm like, that could be your emo wallpaper for Spider-Man. I never thought that I would say that about a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. But all that being said, it doesn't feel like Spider-Man's going to get overshadowed in his own film by another Avenger character. I think they did a good job with it with Doctor Strange, because he's only in that movie, the last one, at the beginning and at the end. And then the rest of the movie's about, Peter Parker, but then obviously you get the other Peter Parkers. This, on the other hand, very much feels like the story is focused on Peter Parker, the character, and what he's doing as Spider-Man, and then everybody else kind of like comes in and weaves in and weaves and bobs in throughout the story, which I think is pretty good. So, but yeah, I mean, I think overall this trailer looks absolutely fantastic. I know a lot of trailers show too much. I don't think this trailer is giving away everything just yet. Because the one thing I am kind of thinking about, though, could that be Jessica Henwick's character leading the Hand? Because we're going to talk about it later. She did recently get asked about if she's coming back in a future Daredevil season. Like, I don't know how it would happen if Colleen, Wing might end up leading the Hand somehow. But I was just trying to see, like, there have been rumors she might be returning to the MCU, and I don't know, like, if you try to look behind the mask of this new leader of the Hand, maybe I'm way off the mark, but I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I think this movie looks fantastic. Like, it just all around. You guys let me know in the comments, what do you think about the box office potential? Because we'll get into the numbers in a moment, but it's this movie was crashing websites left and right today. Like if you went to the AMC app, you were getting the queue again, the loading screen again. Chimera saying, I wonder how he's going to deal with the Hulk. You know what? Good point, because we do get to see a little bit of that. Yeah, I mean, another, Avengers cameo, but like I was saying, for the first time, it feels like these cameos are going to feel like, they're maybe supporting characters or cameos, but not necessarily overtaking like the focus of the movie itself. I feel like, for the first time in these Spider-Man movies, maybe the second time if you count, No Way Home, because the focus really was on Spider-Man for a lot of that film. But you do feel like those other Avengers are not going to overshadow Spider-Man, which they shouldn't, because it is Spider-Man. Like, there you go. There's the Hulk scene. They're both falling off the side of the building. It looks like Spider-Man tried to, plaster Hulk into the wall and all that, but it doesn't seem like that was working. Hey, C Black. Yeah, you're here to collect. I don't know what you're trying to. What was the bet again? Can you remind me? Because I know John's gonna be back in a second. You can definitely ask him about the bet that you guys made. Oh, you mean the bracelet that Bruce Banner had? I mean, that would be the best way to get Hulk to unhulk, because that bracelet is what keeps him from hulking out. So, hey Terrence, how are you doing? And Kevin saying Spider-Man Brand New Day isn't going to make $1 billion at the box office. Box office total prediction 600 to 800 million. I don't think I think you're going too low. I think you're going way too low. Look. The way the box office predictions are going right now, look, they're going off of a movie that made 1.9 billion. The last one did, which is, granted, it came out a few years ago. A lot has changed since then about the MCU, but Spider-Man is still Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the most popular superhero character in the world. 600 to 800 million might be what it does in North America alone, which would be one of the biggest domestic grosses of any movie ever. I think worldwide this movie's, I mean, we'll talk about it again in more detail, but it's got to do at least $1 billion. I think it might even have a shot at 2 billion. CC Black, okay, yeah, I know. Okay, well, you know what? John made his bed because he did say that both Doomsday and B&D won't make $1 billion, which I was like, John, I don't know. Like, you can be, pessimistic about it, but there is no way that, both of those movies wouldn't make $1 billion, if not way over that. So each, I should say. But yeah, there's no, I mean, look, the Spider-Man movies, the last one that didn't make $1 billion was, I think, Spider-Man Homecoming, which was the first Tom Holland movie, and that one made like 800 something million dollars. Every single one that he's done since, I mean, obviously there's two of them, they both made $1 billion. The last one almost made $2 billion. It's a little over 100 million away from 2 billion. So like with future re-releases, it may yet get to 2 billion. Yeah, I agree with you, Fairy Drawing there. Yeah, I mean 1.3 billion for M2G. I think that's a pretty good estimate. It just depends on truly how well it's received by audiences and critics, which I think, early reactions are pretty solid. Terrence also saying over $1 billion. CC Black saying I think Doomsday and B&D make over $4 billion total combined. So you're saying they can both be $2 billion movies. You know what? That's probably not too off the mark. Like, that's definitely interesting. And we shall, you know what? If I was a betting man, that's the kind of bet that I would take. Okay, so Chimera saying, what was the previous solo Holland film's box office again? I think Homecoming did 800 million. I'm just gonna look these up. So Spider-Man Homecoming made 878 million, which is, wow, that's a lot of money. Just for reference sake, both of the Amazing Spider-Man movies made over $700 million, which felt like a downgrade because when you look at, the Spider-Man 3 made 895 million with Tobey Maguire, and so that's why Sony was like, we were worried about where this franchise is going, and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 made less than Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. So the first Tom Holland movie, Homecoming, made 878 million, and that was the last time a Spider-Man movie made less than $1 billion, because Far From Home made 1.13 billion, and then No Way Home currently sits at 1.92 billion. Only 80 million away from $1 billion. That's like 2 re-releases away from 2 billion. Like if they were to re-release it this summer, it might get halfway there. So yeah, yeah, Tom Holland Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man in general is still the most popular character in the world. Hello, Angelica saying 1 billion is guaranteed for a Spider-Man movie. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And yeah, Georgie is nearby, as you saw, Monique. Thank you for that. M2G saying Batman's the top character in my opinion, no matter who plays the character. That's true, but I think it's not just the popularity of the individual characters, also the kind of stories they're telling. It's like the actor and everything around it, the press around it. And look at the Batman. Like the Batman's box office, I think was let's see, it was definitely over 772.7 million dollars. That was the Batman in 2022. The next Batman movie coming out, next October, I guarantee you that movie, if it's as good, if not better than the Batman, will make $1 billion. So the Batman and Spider-Man, in their heyday are pretty much on a level playing field. Batman has a slight advantage in some days. Spider-Man has a slight advantage in other days. But yeah, I think those two, they've always been swapping back and forth. It just, I mean, with Spider-Man currently with Tom Holland, you have had, at this point, he's been in, 3 solo movies. He's been in, 3 or 4 other Avengers crossover movies. He was in Civil War. He was in, Infinity War, Endgame. So yeah, I mean, he's done 6 appearances, including 3 solo films. So obviously at this point, people are very familiar with that. So the momentum carries from one to the next. Figure Drawing saying, John can use me as a gambling rep. With clear mind, I can advise you. Yeah, I'm sure John will appreciate the commentary and the advice, because he ends up owing CC Black quite a bit of money with that bet he made. Hunter Iggy saying, also curious if Brand New Day makes $1 trillion and Supergirl makes about 300 to 400 million. We eat good? Well, first of all, Brand New Day is not going to make $1 trillion. It's just let's kind of pull that back a little. I don't think any movie's ever made or will make $1 trillion US dollars. Maybe in a different currency it could. But $1 billion, yes. I think Spider-Man Brand New Day making $1 billion, Supergirl making anywhere between 300 to 450 million, I think that's perfect. That I think Spider-Man has a chance at 2 billion given where things are now with sales, pre-sales for the tickets. And then Figure Drawing saying only 80 million from 2 billion is damn. Yeah, exactly. I think the original run was 1.8 something, and then they re-released it 6 months after it came out that year. And so despite that re-release had some extra scenes and footage for No Way Home, and that brought it up to 1.92. So yeah, that movie is a hair away from $2 billion. With more re-releases, it could happen. Yeah, you know what? The organic webs is a great point. Like they seem, so we were reading about this recently on the show. There were some other rumors and reports about this, but I do want to talk about it now that we see it in the movie, and we even see, or we hear Tom Holland refer to it. Like the webs that he, the organic webbing is more powerful than the webs that he's able to, generate with the web shooters. Like you could clearly tell like that those webs that he's been able to create, it's coming out of him, are way stronger than anything that his the web shooters can give him, which is something to be expected based on the comics. And yeah, I mean, I love the webs that Nick Cage's Spider Noir was shooting out, and I feel like this organic webbing would be fantastic. I cannot wait for the next time he comes across the other two Spider-Man actors with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's versions of Peter, and they're like, oh, I also have the organic thing now that comes out of me. And then, Andrew Garfield will be like, oh, God, I guess now I'm the only one who doesn't have that. So that'll be fun. Chimera saying, y'all notice that this film is hinting toward mutant genetics. I think that's why it could be Jean Grey. Yes. Yeah, I mean, they do say that Spider-Man's the only one who's immune to the powers of this mysterious character who may or may not be Jean Grey, may or may not be the character that's, being played by Sadie Sink. But mutant genetics is definitely, I mean, it's been a theme since like they did that with Miss Marvel in this last episode. And clearly that's where we're heading after, Avengers Secret Wars. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a few mentions of that in this movie. Then MTG saying, I hesitate to go 2 billion because of the hype with the other Spider-Man, but it wouldn't surprise me. Well, but the thing is, this movie has like a shit ton of other characters. It has an Avenger in the Hulk. It has the Punisher. I feel like the story for this is gonna ultimately end up being something that focuses on Peter Parker mostly, which Amy Pascal said it is big on character. It's gonna feel big, but it's still all about Peter Parker, which I think is exciting. And I don't think they're gonna resolve the whole MJ doesn't remember him or Ned doesn't figure out, like that stuff. They'll probably play out over the course of the next few movies.
I hope so. That's kind of my biggest thing. I hope they just don't undo it immediately. Obviously, they're gonna have to build. I hope that's like in like the Spider-Man 6, whatever the hell it's gonna be called. That's gonna like finally be like, if they are going to bring MJ back into the fold of Peter Parker's like one true love kind of thing, then I think that should be at like the very last possible thing that they tie up.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well,
honestly, I think like, I know they won't do this. I know for a fact they won't do this. But it would be awesome if like the very last thing that's said, just to get kind of like an open-ended kind of thing, like, maybe Spider-Man is like doing like an action scene, like, oh, he continues on the good fight, whatever. And he continues to be Spider-Man for however long they need him. And it's like the very last thing, like he's like swinging by or walking off and he sees MJ, and then maybe they like chat like, oh, thanks Spider-Man for saving us, or should I call you Peter Parker? And then it like, that's the end.
That would be the perfect, like this MJ like kind of just saying that like nonchalantly and completely setting Peter for a loop would be the perfect way to do it.
And it's kind of like a full circle moment with Mysterio, the thing that started all this. It's like the one person he wants to share his life with, to remember. So it's like, it's open-ended, like, yeah, they'll probably get together, but it's like, we don't directly show that. And boom, there we go. That's where it ends. That's where like Tom Holland's Peter Parker journey ends, and that's it. And then they can move on to whoever they want to replace him. And boom, there we go. Easy enough.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna bring up something that was brought up while you were on a break. Let's see. CC Black was in the chat, and do you guys remember you made a bet a while ago that BND and Doomsday won't make $1 billion.
I didn't say Doomsday. I just said Brand New Day. And then once that first trailer dropped, I realized, fuck, I'm gonna have to pay CC Black now, aren't I? Which
Well,
I'm
CC
fine.
Black is here to
Unlike
collect.
Yash, I actually hold my end of the bargain. So if I lose, I will pay you the amount of money you want to receive, sir. So you know the number we bet on. I won't reveal it here because that's a little awkward. But you know, and I know what it is, so we'll leave it at that. But yeah, don't worry. We'll find a way to make it work. Don't worry.
Okay. I know, Hunter, you were talking about people like the grifters in movie articles. If Supergirl makes 300 million but not make 400 million and more is a boom. I don't know exactly what you're saying. I think anything between 300 to 400 million for Supergirl would be plenty. And that's nothing to scoff at for a character who hasn't had a good, successful solo movie in like 3 decades. So yeah, and regardless of what anybody else says online, DC Studios will be happy with that. But John, did you want to give this trailer a rating? I feel like this has certainly been the best trailer so far.
I'd probably give it either a 9.5 or a 10. Yeah, maybe a 9.75 for a small nitpick. But outside of that, it's perfect. Loved it.
Awesome.
Thought it was great.
All right, I do love there's that whole line from May Parker, Aunt May. Over the course of the trailer, where she's literally, because Peter's obviously struggling a lot with being alone, and May Parker kind of says the whole remember the people who love you for who you are, and just remember that, and it's something that kind of keeps him grounded. I thought that was Tom Holland may not have the best comedic timing, but I feel like some of where he makes up for it is the earnest part of it, which I think Tobey Maguire obviously did really, really well. Is just the part when he's at I'm trying to find the image when he's at the grave, and he's Miss you May. I think that's going to be a part that's missed. I hope there's more of maybe even a flashback scene, and we get to see Marissa Tomei as well. That would be great. This definitely for me is one of my favorite trailers of the year. I give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, and the fact that they somehow make it look like and again, based on the trailer alone, it does feel like it is a movie about Spider-Man, not Spider-Man and his friends, which obviously you're going to get to see a lot of his friends and enemies, but I'm excited to see how they balance out all the elements. Remember, Destin Daniel Cretton is the one directing the movie. And that man knows a thing or two about directing a good film and a good, TV show with Wonder Man too. So, and Shang-Chi, great stuff. Chimera saying Doomsday making $1 billion. MCU has done enough to have us keen for Doomsday after their terrible phase 5 to 6 projects. Everything after Bren I think you meant No Way Home.
Brave New World. He meant Brave
New World. Okay, was good to bring me back and hype for D-Day. Be careful with using D-Day. You could definitely get a lot of people confused. Nobody thinks of D-Day as
Doomsday. Just call it Doomsday, buddy.
Just call it Doomsday. Let's not, D-Day is still World War II, but I hear what you're trying to say. Maybe he was trying to get it all in one message with the character limit. But anyway, John, beyond just the trailer, they released a shit ton of new posters. Let's dive through those as well. And we got to talk about the box office as well. We've already been talking about it, but there's definitely more details. So if you want to pop those posters up for a moment, we'll skip past the screenshots for now, but we should have there's a new poster with the Hulk, which looks exciting. I think this released some of their specialty posters as well, actually.
And we have more of Scorpion.
There's Scorpion, yeah. Cool. That looks cool.
We got the Spidey tracker here.
The Spidey tracker's going. Love it. The CEO of the Spidey.
The CEO of Sex, baby. Let's go.
All right, there's another one. This shot was pretty epic. That I'm the Hulk is fucking back, But anyway, that's the Scorpion poster, which very much kind of is emulating a comic book cover, right? So that looks nice.
It's not the best, mainly because the tail looks weird. But
I'm willing to buy it. Okay, Chimera, we got it. It was a character limit thing. Yeah, Hunka Hulk. Oh yeah, arcade, of course. The Hulk is finally back. It's not Professor. Nobody wants Professor Hulk. Everybody wanted Savage Hulk. We do get that. There you go. There's a Dolby Atmos poster, John. That looks nice. I like that poster.
Not the best Dolby poster, but still a damn good one.
It's a good one. Again, the whole golden hour lighting in New York City. It always looks sexy. The Screen X poster is nice. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
The 4DX
One doesn't
poster, I
have
like.
to be cooked for the other one to be cooking.
I like the 4DX poster.
You know,
This one's probably my favorite because it's
that's
like,
really epic.
you know, the
Yeah.
tangled webbing and he's like breaking free. I really like that.
Thematically.
This looks pretty cool,
Real
mainly because I like
3D.
the kind
The
of like
reflection.
comic booky like sketch side of it all. That looks good. This
Reminds
looks
me of
really good as well.
Amazing Spider-Man.
The Cinemark XD one.
Yeah.
Really
I might
good.
see it in XD actually.
D-Box, whatever the fuck that is. But this looks cool. The head looks a little weird, but outside of that.
I was gonna say his head looks off, but anyway.
And then we did share this one. This was for the Amazon Prime thing.
Yeah. Great posters. Okay. Oh, and then John, it does. That's what is that?
That's for AMC.
Oh, they're merch.
You can get socks, guys. Whip cup. An action straw, Spidey head, and all that. So this is all available at. You can get a Thwip blanket. So get a pair of collectible socks. You see it in Dolby Cinema at AMC Thursday opening night event.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like this. I wonder how much it was going to be left by the time I make it to the movie theater. But anyway.
And then, oh boy.
Hello.
This,
hello.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. I like the phone mount looks kind of cool. I like the popcorn tin, the mini poster. Yes. This is all for Cinemark. Then this is for I really like the Regal popcorn bucket.
I like the building. Yeah. Like something.
Who wants to play with a building? Well, I will say the popcorn tin as a building looks pretty, and I like the head too. That looks.
That's
really
a good collectible. I like again and then the texture. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I bet you like the post-credit scene for this movie ties directly into Avengers Doomsday. I bet you the Russo brothers probably shot something specific like that happened for every movie the last few movies. Yeah, great posters. Let's keep going. I think there's we're gonna get into it next, right? The Screen X. So they did shoot it for Screen X, which is fun because it's not just like a weird extension which is just blown out, but like you see there's actual detail in like the side screens that you get in Screen X, and it makes sense because again they're trying to take advantage of the other premium formats because like you were saying in the chat, Smacky, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is going to be playing in IMAX exclusively for pretty much a majority of this movie's first few weeks in theaters. So Marvel, or Sony in this case, doing a great job, both Marvel and Sony, of taking advantage of the other premium formats where Spider-Man, I'm sure, will get much more play while it can't do IMAX. So Screen X is a great format, and then usually what you see with like other movies for Screen X is they just kind of stretch out some of the frame of the edges and you don't really get a ton of extra detail. This, on the other hand, does look like you're getting actual detail that's, not just, somebody's head stretched out to infinity or something. It actually looks kind of nice. And it goes to show you, because a lot of these movies today, John, to kind of avoid some like color fringing and other, weird, artifacts that happen in some cameras. I mean, with some of the higher end lenses, you don't get it as much, but usually most movies they get shot in a much higher resolution than what you get a cropped in version in most formats. So if they shoot it in 6K, they'll crop out like parts of the image, so it's still a 4K image, but it's not everything that was shot. So like usually, unlike an IMAX 70mm, the whole frame, if you're Christopher Nolan, you shoot for that, but and then you still have to crop it for like every other theater. This movie, by the way, is going to be playing in 1.9 to 1 aspect ratio in all the normal standard screens, and then they did announce that in every premium format they're going to be playing in 2.39 to 1. So I think I'm going to see it in Dolby Atmos for that early screening, and so I'll get to see it in 239, so the extended vertical screen. This is good though. This is good. I mean, it goes to show you they're taking advantage of all the extra scenery that they usually shoot that doesn't end up in the movie, and they need all the benefits and the advantages that they get, with Screen X being one of them. Definitely a lot better than anything Infinity Vision is going to give you, but I appreciate using the stuff that's already out there. So but let's talk about the opening weekend, John, because the tickets went on sale, and I was teasing it earlier. It does look like this movie is going to potentially have one of the biggest opening weekends of all time. I believe the last Spider-Man movie broke all of those records, right?
Mhm.
And now it's not even the opening weekend. It's they're looking at like this might be the biggest opening day of all time, John. If you scroll down in this article, I think this is where they mention like right now with the way the sales figures are looking from just hours of the tickets being on sale and you know what they have done and how much people have just jumped on every possible ticket. If you go up a little bit, there's a number there. So the previous record for opening for pre-sale revenue is held by Avengers Endgame at 50 million in pre-sales, and then the Eras tour from Taylor Swift at 37 million. They're thinking this movie is gonna outdo both of those. Over 50 million in pre-sales. When you think about that, that means people showing up on Thursdays, on Fridays, and then all the walk-up business from everybody who's just walking up to the theater, which you know hopefully they can find a seat. This could have the biggest opening day of all time. And also, I think it's in this article where they mention that the movie might actually, with the pre-sale numbers looking like the way they are, it's on track to make 1.5 billion right now. I'm just gonna keyword search billion. There you go. So in this article, if you scroll down a little bit more, it says early box office tracking on cosmicbasics.com. They said early box office tracking is projecting a total of around $1.5 billion for this movie, a figure that underscores just how much faith the industry has in the web slingers pulling power despite ongoing conversations about superhero fatigue. The first trailer alone offered a signal of that appetite, having reportedly racked up over 1 billion views and setting the stage for what ticket sales are now confirming. So, again, ticket sales are ultimately the best barometer of predicting a box office numbers and performance for a movie. And now that ticket sales are on, I definitely think, John, if you were a betting man now, let's just say with things where they stand now, previous bets aside, do you think this movie can make over or under $1.5 billion?
I think it could make over. I think like
Okay.
at this point, if this is the tracking number, I think it
Right.
could make. I don't know if it'll make 2 billion. I think it'll get close, but I don't think it's gonna quite reach that. But I could see it getting going over, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like 2 billion. Look, it's only going to go up from here because the pre-sale numbers will only keep ticking up, and it depends on how good the movie is, right? Like, there's the odd chance, probably a very small one at this point, that this movie shits the bed. On the very unlikely chance that that happens, then you might be worried about that number. But the last one sits at $1.9 billion, John. 1.92 billion. That's where No Way Home currently is. I think this has a chance at 2. If I were a betting man, I would be like, you know what, even 2 billion, I'll take that bet. I'll go on Polymarket or Kalshi and I'll bet that number. Because also, in addition to like Thursday, Friday screenings, the opening day is going to count the early July 29th Amazon Prime early access screening, which we'll talk about in a moment as well. But all of those sales, John, if you go to the next article, they all were like really stressed today because people were showing up and crashing websites. Do you want to walk us through some of the crash? I mean, obviously AMC went down, or you got stuck in a queue, which isn't surprising.
Yeah, I just checked my local theater for
It could be
the early access for the early screening, and literally nothing's available. The only thing is like the very front row, 2 seats in the second row, and then all the wheelchair accessible seats, which I'm like, with my luck, if I like choose one of the wheelchair accessible seats, some guy is gonna come in like, really, come on. And so I'm a little nervous about that. So I don't think I should
did
take
do
a
that
chance
for the
with that.
Barbie early screening, and it happened to work out for me like a few years ago. But yeah, you're taking a risk with that, or you're sitting really too close to the screen. But yeah, I mean, and those tickets, it cost me like $22, which feels normal. But I'm like, I wish I had an AMC A list that I could apply to that, but you can't do that to early screenings. Georgie, what are you doing? Okay, let's get to John. This article talks about some of the other, crashes. Yeah, this is
Atom
interesting.
tickets.
So they were just getting a crash, like they were just not even getting access to the website. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people just got limited, or like you got stuck in the queue. 2 minutes is not bad. The Odyssey, you were waiting like hours. I remember the closest I got was 48 minutes. But yeah, it literally started crashing sites in minutes of the tickets going on sale. So yeah. Chimera
I'm
laughing
really
at you,
curious.
Joe.
Sorry, I'm on my phone, but like I'm really curious now.
You're trying to get that early screening?
No, not the early screening. I'm giving up on that. I'm just curious for like the
Yeah.
Friday.
Well, I mean, I'll do a review on that Wednesday. I had to go through 4 different theaters near me
So
before
this
I could get
is
one
the
to go
Thursday
off.
at noon, by the
Yeah.
way. That's the Dolby screening, and literally everything in the middle is
Oh
just
yeah.
totally
Well, at
yeah.
least you can sit at a decent distance and watch the
Yeah,
whole screen.
but like I like
Don't-
sitting in the
no?
middle, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Well, maybe the first time. Go see it a second time the same weekend. I'm sure a lot of people will
This
do that.
is, and then this is the 3 o'clock one where it's like nothing. That's like, yeah, you could see that.
Well, if you're going by yourself, there's a couple.
Yeah,
seats you could
exactly. Well,
probably
I'm
grab.
I might be like, hey, folks, I might have to go by myself for the first one because I don't think we're gonna get seats.
Or like we're not sitting together, you know, like
or we're not
it's
sitting.
like, when you get seats on a plane and you're like, okay, I'll see you guys in a few hours, and you're probably like
I
parked
might
up
have to just be
2
like,
miles over.
I might
Yeah.
just have to like bite the bullet and just get them, and then you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm actually gonna do that right now for the Thursday.
Cool.
Like, and then if it's like, oh hey, if people aren't available, then I could just cancel the ticket. I like how on the AMC app, we're not sponsored by AMC. I like how, I don't know if it's true for other ones, but I know for AMC you can cancel per ticket rather than the whole order. I do really like that. That's nice.
FGG says wheelchair companion seats are my jam. All right, okay, cool.
I mean, Thursday is pretty close to Wednesday anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think Thunderbolts and F4 did a good job of laying the groundwork. They also, I think the post-credit scenes are doing a good job of tying some sort of consistency between the overall narrative of the MCU. But John, if you go to the next article, Fandango does still have tickets available. Depending on where you are, you may or may not be able to get yourself some of those seats, which if you are able to go on the Wednesday, then, you know, go on Wednesday. And then
all right, so I have them for Thursday at 12 p.m. on the July 30th. So
we'll be talking about it on Thursday. We'll get your review on that Thursday, July 30th. I'll talk about my reaction to the movie on the 29th. We'll do yours on Thursday the 30th, and then we won't do a full spoilery review until like maybe Monday so that everybody gets a chance to see it. Or we might do like a special weekend show, you know. So anyway, John, if you go to the next screen, so once you click through the link in this article, it takes you to Amazon Prime. And this is similar to what we saw for Superman last year. We have seen this before for multiple movies. You have to log in through Amazon, and then you can try to see if a theater near you is holding a screening on the 29th that you can go, you know, and see if there's any seats available, which you do go through Fandango. And good luck to you guys if you still have a chance.
I'm actually curious. Hang on a sec. I wanna do something real quick. Hang on. Just stay with me here.
Are you gonna try to log in and show?
Yeah, I'm gonna log in because I want to fucking show you guys.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I'll show you mine too. I think I still had it open. Let me see if I can pull that out. Oh no, there we go.
Okay.
Let's see where because
wait, don't
you and I are
open
on
it
like
yet.
different locales.
Don't open it yet. Hang on. Let's well, here's the thing. I don't want to dox myself on where I live. So I'm just going to grab the screenshot of the actual thing and then I'll paste it into the... Yeah, so we'll do that. But for now, you know, we'll move on to the next thing because I want to talk about this. You know, this, oh boy. First, the foreskin Supergirl cup and now the fucking... cum explosion of the webbing for Spider-Man. It's like, oh guys, the Dunussi is like back in full swing, pun intended, because woof. Imagine if you like took the Dunussi and like you took like the cone and like put it on top of the Dunussi. It's like, whoa, hello, there we go, perfect. I will agree the Supergirl cup is way worse, but like both are not good. Oh boy, that's not a fun time.
Can you still see me though, John? I don't know if you can hear me. Am I?
No, I can see you. I can hear you.
Okay. Something weird's going on my end where I can't really touch anything.
No, you
It's
look
weird. Anyway.
you look okay to me.
Cool. Yeah. I'm sure people will have fun with that popcorn bucket. They'll have all kinds of fun with that popcorn
Oh yeah.
bucket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, definite nightmare fuel right then and there. But woof. Anyway,
Yep.
hold on, I'm pulling it up now. Let me. So this was the theater that.
Yeah, I was seeing something very similar. It was just completely sold out.
And this is
everywhere.
apparently the Dolby
like, the
theater
wheelchair
too, so
seats.
it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a huge ass fucking theater. Well, at least for
Yep.
me. So the only thing that's available is that front row, the two in that, and then all the wheelchair. Even some of the wheelchair accessible stuff is taken. So, that's crazy. That's definitely crazy.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think, damn. But Dan has to reset right now, but we are going to continue on. But yeah, this fucking especially in Dolby. Hell nah. So, but I will say, instant memes, not the bukkake webbing Spider-Man. Yeah,
Oh, come on. No. All right, we got it. Okay. I mean, I hear you, but
Spider-Man Brand New Day stars T's Grey Hulk and how movie deals with the Punisher's foul mouth. Sync, who is being taken on a press tour where she can say absolutely nothing about her MCU role, could only tease like her role in the movie. It was so exciting. I grew up watching these movies. To join the MCU was very surreal. I really like the character I'm playing, and that's all I'll say. So, yeah. So the whole thing is worth a watch, though there is some back and forth banter about the Hulk being a color other than green. When the Scarlet Witch took control of the Jade Giant in 2015's Age of Ultron, he was supposed to turn gray, and it seems that idea is finally being revisited for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Holland also confirmed to get around the Punisher's R-rated language, the Spider-Man webs his mouth shut every time he goes to swear. That's the kind of fun antagonistic back and forth that should be welcomed by fans of the comic. So yeah. Hopefully we do get Joe Fixin over here. So hell
that
yeah.
sounds good to me. Yeah.
But then Spider-Man Brand New Day, Peter Parker's new fresh start suit coming to Marvel Spider-Man 2 for PS5. Yeah, to the shock of no one, they're gonna milk it dry, baby. Milk it dry. So
no, it's a lot of good cross promotion stuff going on. Why not?
Yeah, of course. I mean, gotta let that. That's why I say milking it. Gotta milk it. But yeah, to the shock of no one. But apparently Marvel teams up with USA Today for new weekly Spider-Man comic. Apparently they're officially teaming up with them to bring about a new reader-friendly experience in a long-forgotten format. Spider-Man is coming back to the newspaper in a way that would make the Daily Bugle jealous and make J. Jonah Jameson shake with rage. USA Today's Play Digital Entertainment Hub is the official home for the Spider-Man Today Infinity comic. This comic is a vertical comic made to scroll through and will run for 48 weeks. Damn. It's perfect for new readers, has an absolutely legendary creative team, and even better carries on an important comic book legacy. So, yeah, that's fun. It has writer Al Ewing, artist Todd Nauck, and both of whom have extensive history with New York's best web slinger. These stories are meant to be approachable, fun for everyone of all ages, so you don't have to worry about continuity or catching up on current ongoings. The comic will also touch on every corner of the Marvel Universe, with the first arc guest starring the Hulk, obviously. So this is kind of cool. Like, I don't know if you have to like pay for USA Today or if it's available for free, but that's fun. I'd read this, maybe. I don't know. Possibly. But yeah, cool stuff. Then Tom Holland kind of moving away from the rest of it, but it still kind of works with Spider-Man. But Spider-Man actor himself, Tom Holland, speaks out on AI and why artists are safe. Creativity has to do with the human experience, which is awesome to see. Well, here's what it is. No, I'm just kidding. That is true. That is true with his Peter Tingle. Yep. Yep. And then finally Andy Serkis echoes these statements. He says AI brings new responsibility to storytelling. The world is changing fast, but human creativity will evolve alongside it. So even he is like, yeah, AI is going to be one step above, but humans are going to be two steps above AI. So that's cool to see. Nice. You are muted, Dan.
I was gonna say I appreciate that it is kind of ironic that on the same day we got 2 stars from the MCU both talking about it. I mean, it seems like more and more you get to see a lot of big actors, and of course Tom Holland and Andy Serkis are 2 of the biggest names right now speaking out against AI and what that means. And yeah, at least Andy Serkis and Tom Holland, they're kind of more optimistic that human art and human creativity is not being replaced by AI anytime soon. We'll see what the long-term outlook is, but I appreciate that. I think Hollywood needs to value that, more and more. I think AI is still in a stage where they're great tools for bespoke tasks, but you can't replace, entire jobs with AI just yet. And even in some of the capacities that it can, it's not as reliable. It's hugely expensive. And so, it's just better to probably again just keep the humans working in those roles, because it's just going to be in the long run still the better bet. So and yeah, anyway, Justin Geeky Guy saying, who's the evil spirit possessing people in Brand New Day? Hello, Justin Geeky Guy. That evil spirit, I feel like we've talked about, it's probably Jean Grey, but John, you mentioned it might be the mysterious villain that Jean Grey is actually after, which is being played by Sadie Sink, we hope. So that's John's theory. But yeah, I think AGI is a lot further away than most people think it is. Chimera, it's not that close to being reality. What if the Hand is using Jean Grey to possess people? I don't know how big of a role the Hand is going to have in the movie, John. Do you feel like the Hand, because I feel like the Hand is going to be a part of the film, but really they're guns for hire. I don't imagine they're the ones calling the shots. Do you?
Right. I don't think so either.
Yeah, I mean, it's a theory. I mean, all these can only be theories until the movie comes out, but we'll see. Thank you for the super chat, Justin Geeky Guy. Yeah, we did talk about that a lot more earlier in the show. But with that, John, I think this is all the Spider-Man specific stuff we have for now. I mean, of course, you guys let us know what you thought about the trailer. If you guys have a box office prediction for Spider-Man Brand New Day, let us know, because right now, based on the early pre-sales, it might break the pre-sales record of all time, over $50 million in tickets potentially being sold before the movie comes out. They're doing an even early screening with Amazon Prime on Wednesday before the movie releases the following day everywhere else. And the projections right now for overall box office look like it could do over 1.5 billion at the box office, which would make it probably the biggest movie of the summer, and maybe even the biggest movie of the year, depending on how the rest of the year goes. Yeah, that's a theory, an oh so curious theory. I like the sound of that, Justin Geeky Guy. Okay, and on that note, let's move back over to MCU Weekly, Beyond Spider-Man, and we talk about some Avengers stuff, John. So the Russo brothers and Robert Downey Jr. have been talking more about Avengers Endgame. Well, not Endgame. They were talking about Endgame earlier, but mostly about Doomsday. It looks like the latest Joe Russo said is that this upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie is the most mature, emotionally complex in the franchise. And then RDJ said the writers have solved Marvel's post-Endgame slump problem. John, you're laughing. Please explain.
Good one. I expect flavorless nostalgia bait, and that's it. Don't expect anything more, but possibly a whole lot less.
They did say there's going to be a lot of surprises. Also, Joe Russo went on to
say it's going to be even worse than you thought.
He went on to say the stakes keep going up, but emotional complexity is always the answer. You bring emotional complexity to anything, it enriches it. It makes it a fuller experience for the audience. There's something going on in Doomsday and Forward that it is literally the only antidote to how do you not have those films be a letdown after an Infinity War and an Endgame. This is what RDJ was saying. And boy, have we labored long and hard to bring that down. It's about the way it's been structured and the other characters. And again, Joe Russo talking about they're going back to phase 0 and all that stuff, which we have talked about before. They even said, I'm fascinated by Obsession. Anthony Russo said that. It's viciously funny, right? In a dark way, made for less than $1 million, and it will be the highest return ever for a movie. That's an explosively disruptive moment in a very, very complicated place that the film business is in right now. But I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because Gen Z are aging into becoming not only the dominant audience, but the dominant storytellers today. Just going back to what Joe Russo was saying about, the stakes keep going up, but emotional complexity is the answer. You bring emotional complexity to anything and it enriches it. It makes it a fuller experience for the audience. I realize they can't give away shit, but I'm like, I don't think any director or writer that's worth their weight in salt is gonna be saying stuff like, oh yeah, emotional complexity is the answer. It's like, if you're trying to fake it till you make it kind of talk. I'm just like, I don't know. I know they're trying not to give away anything, but emotional, the way they talk about shit is just either they're stroking their own ego or something else, or
no. Why would I
just
put myself
don't
through
I don't
pain
know.
if it sucks? Come on,
Yeah.
now, get out of here. I'm not watching it. No matter what you say,
I'm not convinced. Certainly not the way they're talking about it. I feel like they're either trying to overhype it or they're just trying to be very, spoiler averse, which I don't know. I just don't
are we still talking about this?
Yeah.
Are we still talking about the fucking Russo brothers trying to act smarter than they are? Can we just move on?
Yeah. Could Doomsday be better than Infinity War? That is a hot take.
I mean, the shit I took just now is better than the shit I took the 2 days before. Still shit, but sure, I guess. Anyway.
Let's keep going.
Robert Downey Jr. says there's been some experimentation. So instead of the most obvious thing, it's the second most obvious thing we're doing with this character.
So, yeah, he was saying that they're doing something different with the Doctor Doom character, saying a lot of it has been there's some experimentation. We've had our moments of let's shift here, but we landed in
how much money is
more than
Elon Musk worth now?
$1 trillion. And it's not even about how executed it. It's talking about Doctor Doom and his performance. It's about the way it's been structured and the other characters, which again, it's just I feel like they're trying to talk around anything substantive and it comes across as very hollow. So oh yeah, the stakes keep going up. That's how you make a movie, as you go from first act to the second act to the third act until your climax, stakes keep going up, and then you orgasm, and then you want to go to sleep or eat or whatever you do after that. That's how a movie works. It's life. There's tremendous parallels between that and other parts of life. So anyway, I just don't understand. These comments are so freaking generic. It's not telling us anything real. Figure Drawing saying John covering Doomsday is his personal version of Mystery Science Theater. He's forced to cover it or else. This time, 10 universes are at risk. Yes, the stakes keep going up until the climax. And I'm not going to repeat that analogy. But hey, let's talk about the X-Men, John, because after these Avengers movies, we'll get into the X-Men. And apparently, the X-Men movie is going to enter pre-production this year. And it looks like Wagner Moura is currently being considered for a villainous role. Walk us through this one. This sounds interesting. I mean, I would take Wagner Moura in my X-Men movie.
But according to Jeff Snyder, in his latest newsletter, he has a fucking newsletter. God, what a joke.
That's how he releases all these updates. This is
both X-Men and Black Panther 3 will enter pre-production in Q4 of this year, as previously reported. He also heard that Charles Melton is one of the actors being eyed to play Beast. He doesn't have any updates on the Odessa Azion rumor. She was said to be eyed to play Rogue. But we can add a new name to the growing list of rumored X-Men contenders. Wagner Moura could be one of the actors the studio is looking to play the movie's villain. But I've also heard Mora's name floated as a potential James Bond villain, so we'll see which major franchise lands his sinister services. Is that a little tidbit right there? In the wake of his Oscar-nominated turn in The Secret Agent. We still don't know who the main antagonist of the X-Men movie will be, but Mr. Sinister remains a strong possibility. And if it is Wagner Moura, they do get Wagner Moura, then Mr. Sinister seems like the most obvious bet.
Okay. Also, Jeff Snyder did also say that apparently he heard that Vision Quest didn't turn out all that great, which is the opposite of everything we've been hearing up until now.
Yeah,
So
and they also
that's
said Wonder
interesting.
Man sucked, and look how that turned out.
Yeah, that's I was gonna say that same thing. Um, it does look like Hunter Schafer is still being brought up for Mystique, which I would love to see that. Cynthia Erivo as Storm, which we've talked about that. It does look, I mean, Kevin Feige did say they're going to be more youth-oriented with their reboot, and there was a rumor from Cryptic 4K Qual talking about how we're going to get like the core of an X-Men team for the new soft rebooted MCU
Yeah, so
in
Jean
Secret
Grey,
Wars.
Cyclops,
So,
Beast,
yeah.
Angel, Iceman, the original 5, which
Yeah,
makes
which
sense.
You know what? Again, I like it. Like they have all the time in the world to build this up from here. So why not start small and then kind of build it organically rather than like shove everybody in the same movie? And I appreciate that. I just hope that they still are able to balance it out with the other characters and the Avengers and everything. Because once you have the X-Men, Fox only had the X-Men. Nobody's ever had the X-Men and the Avengers and Spider-Man all at the same time. So and Fantastic Four and all else. So it will be a balancing act. But John, as part of the X-Men conversation, it looks like Emma Frost, there was a rumor going around, is set to make her MCU debut in this upcoming X-Men reboot, which is interesting. We did a fan cast Friday on that already, so you guys can go check that out. But
it's come from My Time to Shine, who's mostly miss,
yeah,
rather than hit. I mean, she was played by January Jones for a little bit, but who gives a fuck about that? Yeah, they also claim that Sydney Sweeney has been offered the role, and yeah, fuck no, like come on now. There's also chatter on about how Patrick Wilson and Josh Hartnett being in talks for a mysterious role, but we're not too sure about the source because who knows? I don't think Josh Hartnett would join an X-Men movie. Patrick Wilson, I think, would be good for Professor X, but
oh, I would like that actually. I think that would be really cool.
we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have Emma Frost, whether she's more villainous or more, not so, whether she's on the side of the X-Men or doing her own thing. I think whatever they decide to do with Emma Frost, I think would be great. She just has to look like a queen. Like, come on, white queen right there. Don't have her because I know it's like heebie-jeebie to make women sex symbols anymore. I know it's like, we can't do that. They have to be not at all that. We have to make them strong and blah blah blah. It's just like Emma Frost is a strong character who also happens to be very feminine. You can make it work, just don't have her look like not Emma Frost. It's just like she's supposed to look like a complete whore. That's the point of the character because then people can take advantage of that. People take advantage of her beauty, and then she turns the tables around on them because she is a fucking piece of shit who can fucking rope anybody around her finger and boom, kill him, do her bidding, whatever the fuck, because that's how Emma Frost is. Just saying. So, because I know they're already doing the thing with Mystique's ugly ass costume, and it's just like, oh my god, just fucking. I'm not one of these fucking douchebag incels that's
but that might just be for
women. It's just, I'm swear I'm not like that. It's just Emma Frost is one of the few exceptions. Just make her look like a hoe. That's part of the character.
Just tied the game. I think that's only for the Doomsday because Rebecca Romijn doesn't want to do the whole thing anymore, which is fine. I think maybe for the future version of Mystique, they'll probably go back to the more comic accurate version. We'll see. Again, let's not prejudge. They're still only going to go to pre-production this year. But let's move on to the next thing because, John, going beyond the future of the X-Men, let's kind of step back a little bit, talk about the Fox X-Men, because remember X-Men Apocalypse? It made only $500
It's
some
not
odd
as
million
bad as
dollars.
everyone said.
But apparently it was an editing nightmare, and so the film's editor was recently talking about it, that movie felt a little weird the way it was edited together, and so I can kind of understand what he was talking about here. But walk us through this, because the editor of the movie, John Ottman, who worked with Bryan Singer on several of his movies, including Bohemian Rhapsody, so beyond
which
just the
also
X-Men.
had god awful editing, partly because of Bryan Singer's fault. So because I mean, it's pretty much well known how much. I mean, outside of outside of the fact that Bryan Singer is without a doubt a pedophile. It's been noteworthy since X-Men #1 that he frequently leaves set for days, doesn't come back, and he comes in like hungover or drunk or high. And I know this happened on Bohemian Rhapsody. This happened on Apocalypse, hence why he was eventually fucking fired. And they brought in Simon Kinberg to do Dark Phoenix, because they just didn't have
not a good idea.
a role. They just didn't have a choice in the matter, because
Wow.
it's like Simon Kinberg, all right, guess I'm directing now.
Let me
Because
Discord again.
I think they needed someone last minute, and Simon Kinberg was like, all right, I guess I'll direct it. And then it also turned out to be very bad, but
Yeah, because it was his feature directorial debut. You don't direct an X-Men movie as your feature directorial debut. Like, that was a bad idea, but whatever, it's fine. Anyway, John, so what did John Ottman have to say, who again, is an Oscar-winning editor in his own right?
In contrast, Singer's frequent absences from the X-Men Apocalypse set made his life much harder. His issues with the script were largely ignored, and it started shooting without a finished third act. I was given the script, and I had pages and pages of notes. I see things that are going to blow up in my face. For my own sanity, I can't let the script be the way it is. Then we go into production, and we have no third act. It's not unheard of, and I guess Marvel films that way too. They have no ending, and they just wing it. So a lot of the problems I thought were going to happen, they exploded in my face. For the third act, we were huddling with the team and the second unit director and just coming up with shit. Thank God for voiceovers. I don't have good memories, but it's also just a blur. It was a total nightmare to get that thing to where it was. Ultimately, X-Men Apocalypse was the beginning of the end for the franchise, and Simon Kinberg took over directing duties for Dark Phoenix. However, when Fox decided it would be one movie rather than two, the filmmaker somehow came up with an even worse effort than his previous take on the Dark Phoenix saga, which was The Last Stand, which he co-wrote but did not direct. So,
because like the biggest sin that X-Men Dark Phoenix did was that it was a very forgettable movie. It's like, I don't even, like, it was like, it made you feel nothing. And I'm like, at least make me feel angry about how bad the movie is. Like, and just Dark Phoenix was just like,
I thought it was pretty good. Like, I didn't think it was like the worst thing ever, but it's also was not the way it was supposed to go.
It just didn't have, it had the least emotional impact on me overall. I was just watching the movie. I'm like, I just don't feel anything. And that's the worst kind of feeling you want to have watching any kind of a movie. I'll hate watch something more than like watch something that has no emotional impact on me. But anyway, let's keep going. So I think we were going to leave MCU Weekly there. You guys let us know again what you think about all the X-Men stuff, Avengers, of course.
It's been 90 minutes and we've only covered one thing on this show.
Well, look, it was going to be the biggest thing of the day, but let's get on to the box office report. I know we talked about the Spider-Man box office is going to be the biggest movie of the summer, but before we get that far, John, Toy Story 5 is eyeing a record 150 million plus opening weekend. That's just a domestic number. If you quickly skip over to the next article, from Variety to comicbookmovie.com, they pulled out some information from the Variety article, because the Variety article kind of buries it, a little bit further down. But overall, worldwide, they're expecting Toy Story 5 to open to $275 million. And even domestically, it could go as high as 175, which means this movie could, I have a feeling Toy Story 5 could debut to like close to 300 million, if not over $300 million worldwide, which would be far and away the biggest opening weekend of the year. Are you surprised by that? How do you react to it? Does this make sense to you?
I mean, Toy Story is a huge franchise. Even with a lesser movie like Toy Story 4, it's like it's a 4-quadrant movie. People love Toy Story. People love Pixar. Everyone's coming back for this one. It's we knew when it was announced that, like, even though so many people are complaining that, like, why are you still making movies? Well, they keep making money. The people, like, they vote with their wallets. So even though you have a pantheon of people complaining that it's like, you should have ended it at 3, it's like, well, it's like Disney's like, oh, what are you saying? Sorry, I can't hear you over the fucking billions I'm gonna make over this fucking movie.
The money counters are going,
idiots and suckers that are gonna,
like, the money counters are counting the bills. Like, I can't hear you over all the money counters in my room right now.
Yeah, it's just like people, it's just like, oh, movies, we shouldn't have movies like this. It's like, well, vote in the only way these studios see it. Don't fucking pay for it. How about that? But, it's people love Toy Story. The millennials remember it when they saw it as kids. They want to take their kids to see it. Kind of like what I was saying about Lilo and Stitch, even though it's going to be way bigger than Lilo and Stitch, as in the live action remake. It's like it's a new property. It's a newer franchise. It was only began in 1995. You know, it's still huge. It's still making it's like, and because they've had like a relatively steady release of films. Yeah, there was a gap between 2 and 3, but even then it wasn't like I mean, it was only like 11 years, which isn't like too bad, but like, you know, it's still like
Oh,
a
you mean
decent amount.
3 and 4 or 2 or 3? Was it
2, I said
was
2
it
and 3.
2 and 3? Oh, okay. I didn't realize there was that big of a gap. Like,
Because the first one was 95, the second one was
Mhm.
99, the
Oh, yeah,
third
that's
one
right.
was 2010.
Oh,
The
right.
fourth
Yeah, that was a big gap.
one was pre-COVID, right? That was
I
like
think it was
2019, 2018, something around
probably
there.
2018.
But so you had that, and then it's been relative, like it comes up every you know, like you had the first two that were really close together only because the first one was such a non-expecting but huge hit that
Right.
okay, we gotta shit out a sequel. And I literally just did a video on Toy Story 2 and how, you know, famously people know the story of how it got deleted by accident, but did you know it also got deleted on purpose? So go check out that video on my channel.
I do know
I'm
that
shilling
story.
out.
Yes.
I'm shilling out for that kashish. But yeah, and then, you know, the third one, it was a perfect time. Like all the kids that watched that original movie were going to college, and Andy was going to college and all that shit. And, you know, Toy Story 4 was like seen as like kind of like an epilogue for Toy Story 3. And then they're like, oh, this shit's still making money. Fuck it. We're gonna make like 10 more of these fucking things. It's just like, you know, like instead of Jaws 19, it's Toy Story 19. You know, that's how it's definitely gonna be. But yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna make a billy, maybe even make 2 billy. I could see it making 2 billion.
I don't know. I mean, I think 1.5 is probably a good number that it can reach for. Like, just look at the numbers for Toy Story 4. It opened to 120 million. If you scroll up there, the numbers were there. Toy Story 4 opened to 120 million. I think the highest opening weekend domestically so far this year, if you scroll up a bit more, they have that for Super Mario Galaxy. In the article, Super Mario Galaxy opened to over 100 million. It opened to 131.7 million, which is the biggest opening weekend domestically so far. Toy Story is on the low end, looking at 135 million, on the high end potentially over 150, even 175. Yeah, I mean 275, 300 million worldwide, and then yeah, if it opens to 300 million worldwide, then I feel like the $1 billion mark will probably, yeah, it'd be very achievable. So even with Minions and Supergirl and everything else that's going to come out in the weeks that follow. So let us know what you guys think about that. Toy Story 5 looking like it's going to make anywhere from $250 to $300 million in its opening weekend, including 150 million or 175 million domestically. That's huge. That will easily be the biggest opening weekend of the year. So we'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, let's move on to Movie Talk Madness. We have a few things to talk about on that front. We have one piece of news that's a bit of a business of Hollywood thing. And so we're not going to spend too much time on it, John, but I do want to bring this up because this was something that was going around. There was a report from Semaphore this week that was talking about how Netflix might be interested in acquiring Lionsgate. Now, Lionsgate has been looked at the last few years as an acquisition target. It was just last year they finished their split, where they split off Stars as its own company. So Stars was like, you know, is the stream, there's the premium network that they were all part of the same company. Lionsgate and Stars were like, so John Wick movies you would get on Star. This still, Stars gets all the Lionsgate movies, the first pay one window, first streaming service it goes to, like any of the John Wick movies, any of the Hunger Games movies. The first service you'll find it streaming on is Stars. But last year, Stars and Lionsgate split off because Stars also has like the cable, you know, bundle thing because it's like a HBO like channel. And Lionsgate didn't want to have anything to do with that anymore. So now Lionsgate, it's kind of lost some of that, you know, older legacy business part of its company, which makes it more acquisition friendly. So there's been rumors and Semaphore, you know, putting out a report that Netflix might be interested in buying Lionsgate, but Netflix then quickly debunked the report. because after that semaphore report came out, Lionsgate's stocks jumped by 13%, which again, we've talked about it, like Roku, whenever a company is potentially on sale, like Fox, for example, paid over $20 per share more than the artificially inflated price of Roku. That was after people jumped on their Roku stocks. Fox still paid more than what that was. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that wanted to get in on the action if Lionsgate were to be sold, but Netflix quickly came in. As you see the headline, they said that they're not interested in buying out Lionsgate despite all the takeover speculation. As a result of that, in after hours trading, hello Jalen, how are you doing? As a result of that, in after hours trading, we saw that the stock for Lionsgate dropped by 4%. So yeah, MTG saying Toy Story 5 could make 1.6 billion. Yeah, absolutely could. But yeah, no, that's about it. I mean, it looks like Lionsgate is not going to be acquired by Netflix. I will say this though, if Netflix were to be acquiring Lionsgate, they wouldn't be saying it out publicly, because then they would just have to pay more, because everybody, like, stock would keep going up. So I don't think this necessarily means that Netflix is not interested at all. It just means that Netflix probably doesn't have any immediate plans, because they also don't want to have egg on their face saying, oh, we're not interested, but then 2 days later they say, we're buying Lionsgate. So yeah, I mean, Lionsgate will probably be acquired down there. I have a feeling like if they were to be bought by somebody, it would be either Sony or NBC Universal, because they need more scale. But I don't know if they have anything particular to offer to NBC Universal that they don't already have with Comcast. And similarly, I don't know if Sony wants to take on. It's just there's a lot of duplication. Netflix would make sense because you get a lot of the theatrical distribution and stuff that they were going to get with Warner Brothers. So but it looks like it's not happening in the near future, so we'll leave that there. But John, let's talk about an actual movie in MovieTalk Madness. Yeah, thank you, Monique. We got to talk about The Odyssey. Of course, The Odyssey was shot on IMAX using IMAX cameras. There's a difference, remember, when they say shot for IMAX and shot in IMAX. Because when it's shot for IMAX, usually what that means is you're shooting with cameras that are IMAX approved, like Top Gun Maverick did, like Supergirl did, like Superman did. Then there are movies that are shot in IMAX, which are actual cameras that IMAX makes. So that's what Christopher Nolan does. And this post here kind of describes to you the difference, the enormous difference between how an IMAX camera works and what an IMAX camera film looks like. So John, if you go to the previous slide for a second, the way traditional film cameras work is the film cycles through vertically. You know, we've all seen that. Like, we all know the look of that. In an IMAX camera, the film cycles sideways. It's the same is true for the cameras. The same is true for an IMAX projector that projects 70 millimeter film. The film is not projecting vertically; it's projecting horizontally. I know this because I worked in an IMAX, actual like IMAX, like real 70 millimeter IMAX theater, and I would loop the film through the projector and like the million spools and everything. There's vacuum pumps and stuff that keep the film, stable, so that it doesn't it doesn't flail around as it's looping through so in front of the projector. And then you see here in the camera as well, they have similar like vacuum pumps and everything. But so the IMAX cameras, John, also the film stock is 15 perforations, which is about 10 times bigger overall than the traditional 35 millimeter film. So like, I'm sure you've seen Christopher Nolan talk about, like, compare the two. It's a huge difference. You get way more detail. The grain size gets reduced quite a bit, and you just get a much sharper image for like the big 70 millimeter projection and pretty much any other format that you watch an IMAX movie in. And then if you keep going from there, of course, we got to talk about the fact that IMAX cameras are pretty big, because you're running all this huge hardware inside. So we've talked about that before, John. So if you scroll up to the next slide, they do mention how these cameras can be really loud, even though, you're getting minimized distortions, you're getting a really sharp picture because of, how it's set up. And it gives you the highest, pixel resolution, if you were to convert it, than any camera that you can shoot with. They are pretty loud. And of course, that's what Christopher Nolan and IMAX worked on together to, get rid of. And so they can actually shoot some dialogue scenes, which we are finally getting. Speaking of, once you shoot on those IMAX reels, John, if you go to the next thing, Christopher Nolan was talking about like what they do with the film, and this is kind of like old school, because most movies don't shoot on film anymore. They don't have the same issue where when you're doing dailies, all you got to do is go to your DIT guy or go to Video Village. They're gonna probably already have the footage either transferred wirelessly, or they're dumping the media, whether it's cards or whatever media that you're using with Alexa cameras or Red cameras. If you go to the next link here on Instagram, Christopher Nolan explains how, like they used to back in the day, the next link, not the next slide on Instagram. And that you know,
let me
they throw the reels into this casing, literally gets shipped out. If you're shooting like in the middle of the Mediterranean, once the reels get shipped, they have to arrive in the lab in LA. If you're shooting around LA, then you just, you know, drive it. Because back in the day, literally there were entire positions on film crews back in the day where they were dedicated to taking you know, film reels and then going to the daily houses and developing the reels and running it through the chemical baths and stuff. And then once they do that, you digitize the reel, because all that footage, when you watch back the dailies, you're watching it digitized.
Digitize me, Fred.
And like Nolan explains, they actually edit digitally. And then once you edit digitally, like Avid does this really well. Avid was designed for this, where Avid will give you a cut sheet. Basically, they will tell you exactly where on the film reels you want to make cuts, so that you can actually take the digital cut and, you know, take the reels and make the reels correspond, you know, to the digital cut of the movie. And then you print it onto, he said there's 41 IMAX 70mm theaters around the world. So then you make 41 copies. You see the color timing work being done. Literally, it's not color grading, it's color timing, because they're actually taking the original photo negative and using color timing with actual RGB lights. You color grade the movie, and that gets, you know, then you have your master positive print. You know, the negative is not what you see on, you know, the negative obviously looks like negative colors. Positive print is what you then make 41 copies of and send it to each of the IMAX theaters around the world. So it's a very analog process that I don't think people have an appreciation for, because most movies.
Bro, I already know I lost after that first trailer. You don't gotta rub it in anymore. Like, come on, man.
We talked about it earlier, CC Black. John already knows that he lost the bet a long time ago. But John, that's quite the process. I really have an appreciation for this. I know it's very expensive, which is why it's not accessible to most filmmakers. But certainly if you're at the level of Christopher Nolan, like, why not take advantage of it, you know? It does have some setbacks, because you have to work with a huge camera. They have to build custom rigs for it to have it on a dolly and stuff. So that's, you know, limiting. But if you're willing to keep up with that, I think it still gives you the best picture quality available. Like, no film is going to be better than 70mm film. Size, scale, and color and everything. Detail as well. Would you ever want to shoot on 70mm film if you had the chance?
Hell nah. Sounds too much of a fucking annoyance. And it's too expensive. Fuck no.
Well, imagine you're not cutting the check yourself.
I've shot on film. And it's a bitch. I shot on 16mm film in college. Yeah. And it is mad fucking annoying. However, I will say it looks phenomenal. But
right?
It is mad annoying. It's just like, as long as it's not like just me and I'm like have a crew to help me with that, then yeah, sure, I'd work with it again.
You're not writing the
fucking
check,
work with fucking 70mm. Hell nah, that's too fucking much, bro. Too much.
Well, there's only one lab in the whole country, or, you know, that actually still processes film like that, which is the one in LA that Nolan's talking about here. But let's keep going, because John, beyond just the Odyssey and IMAX and the format itself, you know, the popcorn bucket for the movie is the IMAX camera.
Yeah,
and apparently Christopher Nolan got a hold of it, brought it out for his cinematographer Hoytman Hoytema, which I didn't realize that scope there actually has got one of those like little things. Remember back in the day you could like do the scope, whatever. What was that toy where you could like change the image? You look through it and then it's just
the kaleidoscope thing. I forget what it is, but yeah, I know what you're
going. Yeah. You see that? Like, I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. Like, it's more than just holes.
I will say that's cool. You know? I think it's still a stupid idea for a popcorn bucket. I'd much rather get the Trojan horse, but
I'd rather get both. I feel like that's the movie nerds version of the popcorn bucket. It's like, yeah, I got an IMAX camera popcorn bucket.
That's the closest anybody will ever get to an IMAX, actual IMAX camera.
And that IMAX camera is the one without like the huge box they put around it to make it quiet. So, you know, imagine if they made that the popcorn bucket. That would have like a whole case. Within that, there's an actual camera and there's a bunch of other shit going.
It reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that scene. Terrible, terrible movie, but great scene on how like old school film worked was in Babylon when they were trying to film like a sound movie and they like couldn't have like anybody talk, They couldn't, and like you had to stick the camera in this gigantic, like it almost looked like a giant porta potty and like this giant room because like the camera made too much noise and the microphones, despite how shitty they were, could pick up like anything. So it's just like shut the like you had the guy. It was very over exaggerated, but then you had the director being Pat Byrne, who's a big character actor. He was like, "Everybody, shut the fuck up! We have to get moving." And it was like it spent the entire day filming one shot, and it was like but like that's kind of how it was, and that's kind of it's like everything coming full circle with the IMAX camera. You have to put it in this giant box in order to actually film anything because it's too fucking loud.
It's physics, right? Because remember, because the film is so much bigger than traditional 65mm film, it still needs to run through the camera at the same rate because you're still filming at 24 frames per second. So the motors are a lot more powerful. The torque on them is a lot more, so they do generate more noise. It just means that this thing it's a huge like physically move. Like there's a lot of moving parts inside, so it's hard to kind of like muzzle that noise or Anyway, the IMAX popcorn bucket looks great. MTG saying the 70mm IMAX are sold out for weeks in San Francisco for the Odyssey. It is crazy. I mean, the same in New York as well. So I definitely had to get a companion seat for this one Monday after opening after 2 p.m. You know what, man? Yeah, I love the hustle. Those you can sneak in a movie theater or two with a companion seat because like you're taking a chance, but like so far the one or two times I've done it, fortunately I haven't been kicked out. So good luck to MTG in your and safe travels trying to go see the Odyssey. But John, we are finally have arrived at the quick hits part of the show. Hello Jordan, how are you doing? Before we get to DCU Daily, we got to do the quick hits. I'm gonna hit the music, and why don't you walk us through them quick hits? We got quite a few of them today.
Is Austin Powers 4 happening? Mike Myers says yes, but nothing else.
All right,
so we might get Austin Powers 4. Not like I care. I saw the first one. I thought it was okay, and that's kind of...
For years, the thing was, like, because Mike Myers left Hollywood, so now that he's back, his co-stars and other filmmakers are like, you want to make it? And he's like, yeah! So, like, but it doesn't mean they're making one yet, but it just means Mike Myers is open to it, and you know what? That's a lot more to go off of than we had for years, so...
Right.
Good on that.
Studio Canal sets true crime art heist docuseries The Paris Tokyo Job. Oh,
ooh!
It's The Paris Tokyo Job. With Sunny Side of the Dock launch. So yeah.
Is this about like the Met, not the Met, the Louvre getting robbed? Is that what this is about, or is this
maybe? I don't know.
I mean, it's like maybe Dom Toretto and his crew are involved. It's a documentary. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, cool. I guess.
Cool.
Studio that's developing Skibbity Toilet movie and TV projects with Michael Bay has raised $25 million in funding. Man, cinema's dead, bro. Cinema's fucking dead. We're done. We're dead.
They're eyeing more than $300 million in investments in creator businesses. They tapped industry veteran Mark Shedletsky as president. Okay. Skibbity Toilet, John. That's a real thing. Remember,
heist job.
You don't turn your back on family.
Verified
Skibbity
rotten.
Toilet.
That's what I rate this fucking Skibbity Toilet bullshit. Anyway, Iron Fist star Jessica Henwick on rumored Daredevil Born Again season 3 return. We'll see. I'd like to see her again. I think it would be awesome.
Me too.
Don't call it a sequel or a reboot or a remake. Why certain words trigger Hollywood? Good. Hollywood should be triggered.
Yeah, because they're like, because people are like, oh, if it's a reboot, that means that we failed at it, so we're redoing it. I'm like, stop complaining. Like, you guys are the ones who are perpetuating these things. Like, you're the ones making the movies. Like,
how about look in the mirror, Hollywood?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so if you don't call Wicked 2, we still know it's the second movie. Like,
yeah, we still know Social Reckoning is a sequel. Like, the fuck, bro.
Even though it's not a sequel, apparently, but it is a sequel.
But it's know what we can do? Instead of getting mad, why don't we point and laugh at the Duffer Brothers? You guys suck. You can't make another TV show for as long as you live, because you fucking suck. You suck. You suck. Your shitty show got canceled after one season. You suck.
I think Netflix is trying to get out of the Duffer Brothers game because they've left for Paramount. So they're like, the Burrows, one season was good enough. We're out. So I don't think they have much else left.
Suck. Despite having really good actors like Alfred Molina and Alfred Woodward, that doesn't matter. You suck. Duffer Brothers, you suck. I hope your Paramount shit sucks too, and then you leave Hollywood because you're nothing but a bunch of talentless hacks that you fooled everyone with the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. Turns out you're just hacks. I didn't even hear of this until now. I didn't even know Duffer Brothers had it.
I heard about it. We didn't talk about it much. Yeah.
Lewis Pullman revving up for Caitlin Michaela's motocross drama Ragamuffin. What a name. David
what a name that is.
Permute producing.
I mean, if you're motocrossing, you probably do have a Ragamuffin. So, anyway. I'll see myself out.
But I like Lewis Pullman. He's just gonna be in every vehicle at this point. Like, he's gonna be in motocross, he's in a plane, he's in this. He doesn't even need anything to fly a Century.
On a plane, on a bike, Lewis Pullman on a bike, Lewis Pullman on a plane.
Although speaking of Wagner Moura,
on a train.
Apparently in this Ocean's 11 prequel that nobody asked for, apparently he's gonna be in that. Wagner Moura, like, dude, stop doing shitty. Like, you literally were just nominated for an Academy Award. Don't do fucking
I'm okay
Ocean's
with that.
11. Don't do Marvel. Fucking do something actually worthy of your fucking talents. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Do you think they could call it Ocean's 10? Like, because it's, well, no, that was supposed to be like the Sandra Bullock trilogy that only got one movie.
Wait, was that supposed to be a trilogy?
It was Ocean's 8, 9, and 10, so they were gonna work their way up. Well, it wasn't trilogy continuity wise, but the idea was they were starting with 8 so they can do a 9 and a 10, because then there's Ocean's 11. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense in terms of the chronology of the franchise, but I remember that was the case. Anyway, Bradley Cooper is also going to direct this film for Warner Brothers. He's currently working on prepping that.
But Daniel Kaluuya reteaming with Shaka King for The Parlay that Amazon MGM Studios Teyana Taylor is circling to star. So
nice, sounds good. The Parlay, nice. Shaka King, great.
Look at that fucking haircut though, bro. Look at that thing.
I can't.
What the fuck even is that? Holy shit.
It's supposed to be behind your head, but he's got it. It's up front. It's fine.
Yeah, he's just cool. Key and Peele's plan to reboot Police Academy got canceled after Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, says Ike Barinholtz. So, yeah, not great that the reason why this got canceled, but hey, it probably would have not been great anyway. So, well, I mean, literally, they tried to make Police Academy work with 17 more sequels after that, and look how that turned out. Sometimes lightning in a bottle hits once and never again. So let's just keep
That's what they call it. You can't catch lightning in a bottle twice.
So hard. Let's just Key and Peele, love you guys, but no.
Yeah.
Anyway,
although I don't think anybody's ever quite caught lightning in a bottle. I don't even know how you do. Anyway, go ahead.
Although ironically, Key and Peele had a sketch about a guy catching lightning in a bottle, so it does work.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
The irony but Lucas Gage says Prison Break reboot will be really dark and teases we might see a couple of OGs coming back. Cool.
Okay. Cool. Prison Break.
Did you watch Prison Break?
You're talking about the one that was on CW, or you're talking about the OG Prison Break? Or is that,
I don't think there was one on CW. There was, with Wentworth Miller and Dominic.
That's
Purcell.
What I was talking about. Was that not on CW? That was on Fox?
No, they just played, Heatwave and Captain Cold.
No. I know, but they were on that show. I know, but where was it? Was that a movie? Was it a show? Anyway,
I think there was a movie, but I don't think it was on CW though.
It's fine.
Anyway,
I mean, clearly I'm misremembering whatever I did see. So.
But next up, despite K-pop Demon Hunters' diversity in streaming movies eroded in 2025, UCLA study finds. What a shame.
Yeah, we talked about it. UCLA does this study. It's just, again, diversity. We talked about it last year. It just seems like, we're going in the wrong direction. The share of women and people of color in key acting and directing roles in streaming films has fallen across the board over the course of last year, which is unfortunate, and I hope that we can turn the bus around real quick. But Jeremy Allen White praises the UK for banning social media for kids under 16. There needs to be a correction. I agree. Again, it's about execution.
Maybe he said that to his wife after he cheated on her. Maybe that's what he said. Oopsie daisies. Did I say that out loud? Anyway.
Low blow.
BBC to cut 550 jobs and reduce commissioning spend by more than 100 million as part of savings plan. New director general says. So we're probably going to get way more soap operas from the BBC.
Well, I mean, again, they're in a little bit of trouble with financing. But, you know, Doctor Who's going to be on the shelf for a while. BBC just, you know, this is what you got to do when you're in financial trouble. You got to cut where you can. So,
yep.
You know.
Although unfortunate, much sadder news, Top Gear star Jeremy Clarkson reveals aggressive cancer diagnosis, which nobody wants to see because Jeremy Clarkson is a goat. He is one of the many goats, and he's just fucking awesome. Just Jeremy Clark. This is what real masculinity looks like. You know,
like, despite all the controversy of like how he left Top Gear and all that, it's like, look, I'm sure he was not easy to work with at times. It really is the biggest bummer of the day for me, because I'm like, I hope Jeremy Clarkson still has a lot of good years to give us, because he announced this at the end of the recent season of Clarkson's Farm. So I really hope that, you know, that's not it. You know, hi Nelson. I love Top Gear. I love Jeremy Clarkson. You know, all the, you know, ups and downs of his character and all that aside, but. This is really, I haven't seen that, you know, they did that final grand tour thing on Amazon Prime. It's because in my mind it hasn't ended because I haven't seen it yet, but I'm like, oh god, like I grew up loving this when I was in the UK, and Jeremy Clarkson is Top Gear. Top Gear is Jeremy Clarkson for me, so I hope that he's going to be around for a long time to come. Yeah. Sad news to hear that.
But back to more happy news. Knicks Game 5 victory closes NBA Finals with nearly 25 million viewers. The most watched Game 5 since 1998.
That was when Michael Jordan was in the process of getting his second three-peat. Yeah. Nice, Nelson. Hey, 7 out of 10. That's awesome. Yeah, fuck cancer. Thank you, Jalen. We should all be saying that. We hope Jeremy Clarkson fucks cancer, too.
Right in the butthole. But more going on in the world of sports. Stanley Cup Final scores largest TV audience since 2019. Not quite as much of a gap, but the fact that the Carolina fucking Hurricanes actually won something is crazy.
It's also, I think, the first time that ABC's aired the NHL playoffs since they got the rights back. So, yeah, ABC's having one hell of a year. Disney's got, like, the Super Bowl on ABC next year. They got the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals this year. So, yeah, I mean, hey, both hockey and football doing great. And also, the Hurricanes hadn't won a title in, like, 20 years. I was confusing them with the NFL franchise, the Carolina Panthers. But, yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes. And, of course, the Knicks, first time since 73. Yeah. Look, the NBA loves I think this particular version of the Knicks.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about the Nets. Nobody gives a flying fuck about the Nets. Everybody loves the Knicks. So
it's always been true. But yeah, hey, good for congratulations to the Knicks and the Hurricanes. Obviously great for TV audiences as well.
But SAG-AFTRA's anti-deepfake bill endorsement draws 16,000 signatures.
This is great because, I mean, it's like celebrity deepfakes have been a big problem for a long time, and now with AI, it's only perpetuating that phenomenon further. So, I'm glad that, you know, the SAG-AFTRA has kind of signed off on this, and he got all these other signatures, because the No Fakes Act will be addressed in the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing this week, and hopefully it will get passed, because we don't want to see all these celebrity deepfakes, because again, they're not getting paid for it, they get misrepresented, and you know, you often end up seeing celebrity deepfakes on porn websites and stuff, and it's just not good. It's just, imagine being in their position, you know, no matter how popular and how rich you are. It's just not a good position. I hope if you guys get a chance, do sign that petition. So, yeah.
Colbert gets CBS to pay fine for his unauthorized use of Peanut song in Late Show finale.
I remember this. He was like, "Oh no, I hope this doesn't cost CBS any money," and then he just quickly moved on. I was like, "Yeah, there you go. That's one last fuck you to CBS on the way out. It's great for you. I love it. Good on you, Stephen Colbert."
But speaking of family, Jalen, so we have Lego Family. It's been 25 years of Fast and Furious cars, nitro-fueled chases, and high-octane action, so naturally, the celebration is fully fueled, and it's all built for real.
Yeah. This is actually like a good Lego, like, short film. they put together. There's no AI. This is all done like stop motion. They shot that iconic sequence where they, jump in front of the train and slow-mo. Yeah, this is great. I saw this. I'm like, wow, this is impressive. I'm like, I want more. Like, I want them to recreate the whole original Fast and Furious movie just doing it. Remember, it's a cute dog. I totally forgot about that part. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Because like when it's like, oh no, and then he does a flip and he's somehow okay. So cool. The 25 years of Fast and Furious. The race never ends. I might go see it in theaters in August, honestly, when it comes out.
But then we have the GOAT himself.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, and the reason why he is the GOAT.
And I was gonna say Rocky also. He's been tweeting this weekend he misses you.
See, like, this is what bums me out. Because he's in the hotel and he didn't text.
I didn't know either.
I didn't know.
Credit
I thought he was in LA.
I watched
he's
this whole
here.
thing, by the way.
And he's in London.
He left an hour ago.
He's like,
He's a diva.
he's changed.
Yeah. So is your friendship stable or like on the rocks, would you say?
Wow.
You see what I did
there. I don't know. I mean, he's just like, it's a big movie. It's a lot happening to him fast. I get it.
Yeah.
It has gone to his head, but like, I think he'll come back.
Yeah, I think he'll come back down to earth.
Yeah.
Do you see what I did there?
Wow, you did it again. You're good.
That just happened on the spot, by the way.
Wow.
Okay, the next one is long-haired Ryan Gosling.
Ooh.
I don't recommend it, but yes.
Okay, I have one question for you.
Yes.
Do you wear wigs?
I don't know if it's my end or I don't know what's going on, but it's very. The video isn't really playing.
Hell yes.
Hell yes.
Yes.
There we go. I'm so glad you got that. I was like, if you don't know what that video is.
That's.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I noticed. Okay, so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was my end or Dan's end, but once we started playing the video, it started getting all. So that person who hold on a sec. Let me go back. If you guys want to watch the whole video, it's Claire L. Roden on Instagram. So yeah, if you want to watch the full video, because that was very staticky and not doing that kind of fucked up it towards the end. But if you want to watch the full video, it's on Instagram. The interview is very funny. It just shows why Ryan Gosling is like absolutely amazing in every facet of the word. So yes, that is it for the quick hits. So we sorry about that, guys. So thanks for watching the news portion of the show. I am at least going to move on to DCU Daily. So let's keep this train going and try to remain #blessed. Again, sorry about that.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka!
Okay, everyone, 2 hour mark. Here we are. Welcome to DCU Daily. We are here to talk about all things DC. Hopefully Dan can come back in time. Needs to restart his browser and his computer, but thanks for sticking with us despite the technical difficulties. And let's truly get this party started, because it's been a long day without you, my friend. So let's get into it, because we are, of course, going to start out with the DC quick hits, the Paradox Pelicans of DC News. The first thing, of course, is your boy Lobo talking about how the real D3D version of the movie, and how awesome it's gonna look, and but yeah, good stuff. I don't know why people are complaining, but yeah, good times. But next up, comics out of context. This was at the very end of Doomsday Clock, where after they reconstructed the universe, after because they were trying to answer questions about the New 52, why that got fractured, put back together, and all that stuff. So like, okay, we're reconstructing the universe now. Dr. Manhattan made everything okay, all that stuff. So it is January 2026. The timeline is restored, and Earth 5G is born. That's what the Dan DiDio tried to do. It's like, oh, we're gonna do future state. We're gonna do like, it's gonna be an organic timeline, and then that turned out not to be the case, because it was a very stupid idea. But it is June 17th. Well, now it's 18th. Now that we're doing this, but hey, for people not on the East Coast, it's June 17th. Superman goes on a quest to find Bruce Wayne's lost daughter, so he could save Bruce's son. Of course, this never amounted to anything. It was supposed to be all set up, and then, they're like, oh, wait, no, that's actually the worst idea ever. Bye, Dan DiDio, you prick. Boo! And then we moved on to bigger and better things, because now we have the Absolute Universe, and everyone is glocking over that one, so maybe it was for the best that this never came to be. But yeah, this person thinks that never occurred. Wasn't the 5G universe supposed to be the new set of codes for DC with age-up characters? Thank God that got axed. They really thought that. What's the general consensus? Doomsday Clock, a very stupid comic. It's like okay by itself if you completely forget the fact it's a sequel to Watchmen, but like on its own, in a vacuum, it's like fine. But as a sequel to Watchmen, it's very fucking stupid and unnecessary, and only exists so that like, hey, Dan DiDio could have his stupid bullshit fan fiction ideas become a reality, only for them to not become a reality, because DC actually grew a brain cell and decided to sack him because Dan DiDio fucking sucks. But
wow, okay. Sorry,
unfortunately,
Ryan
they didn't grow enough. They didn't grow two brain cells to not hire Tom King, but they did grow the one brain cell to realize that Dan DiDio was a piece of shit, and they got rid of him. So
cool. All right.
Next up, the Batman, the Penguin, the Batman Part 2 logos.
Hey, they're consistent.
They all fucking look the same.
They all add up to the same looking thing. No blue anywhere.
Yeah.
So
oh, look how. But this time the is on the left side, and the Part 2 is on the bottom right.
I mean, I think the only word they haven't put it is on the right side. Like it will be Batman the Batman part. I don't know. Like it wouldn't make sense to put it on the right side. Maybe they could put it at the bottom, like Penguin the. No, that also wouldn't make any sense. You could tell they've tried every place they can possibly stick the, and yeah, Georgie, I think, well, she's off somewhere else now.
So this was the family resemblance is undeniable. Just awesome. And then this, I agree with it, because these are literally the, like, I was going through this comment section, literally this person and this person are the only two people that didn't leave negative comments or grossly transphobic comments. So that's fun. Thanks, DC, for being having a fucking shitty ass fandom. Anyway, but this is pretty peak. Yes, but in yellow. And as soon as Superman or an adjacent character finds out you can take a few hits, they start ragdolling you. So Nice.
much.
Now let's move on from this because this comment section is cancer. Anyway, speaking of cancer, Zack Snyder's Justice League now streaming on Netflix. Cool.
Yeah. So the thing is, this isn't streaming on Netflix in the US because it's on the HBO Max, but there are countries in the world where HBO Max isn't available. So Zack Snyder talked about this because he was just posting and celebrating that Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is available on Netflix in some parts of the world. It is in the top 10 on Netflix in 21 countries, including France, Poland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Turkey, Bulgaria, Greece, Romania, Serbia, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, and a few others. So yes, Hunter Iggy, it's not trending in the top 10 on Netflix in the US because it is not on Netflix in the US and like the UK and basically anywhere HBO Max exists, it's on HBO Max. But there are countries where HBO isn't available or HBO Max
I would
isn't
say
available,
the people that
on Netflix,
aren't, well, they claim to be part of DC, but they're not really part of DC. They're just assholes that hate everything.
Look, I'll also say this. You can like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
No, I'm not talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm just talking about
yeah.
the assholes making fun of Millie Alcock's appearance
Right.
for literally no reason. So,
yeah,
Yeah. But Kendra Saunders, James Gunn said, aka Hawkgirl, made her comic debut in JSA Secret Files and Origins, written by David Goyer and James Robinson, with pencils by
David
Scott Benefiel and inks by Mark Probst. So
Nice. I like that shot. That's from Superman, obviously. And yeah, Hawkgirl is going to be a big part of the future of the DCU. She's going to be in Man of Tomorrow. We'll see if she runs across Aaron Pierce, Jon Stewart at any point. See if there's any chemistry there. It is Kendra Saunders, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's the version we're getting. Well, we'll see, because you gotta be verified. You have to see the movie in order to submit a review, and they'll verify through your Fandango account. So you can't just review bomb on Rotten Tomatoes the way they used to be able to. So, but speaking of Supergirl, John, the summer of Supergirl continues. Let's get into that because we got a ton of Supergirl stuff to talk about. Will there be a Hawkman? That is the real question. I hope there is. Maybe soon. We'll see. We'll find out. But John, before we find all that out, let's find out what the latest Supergirl featurette told us, because this is like another behind the scenes one.
Cinemas
in the UK.
The UK. So this is, I would say, we got some really cool shots in this one.
I mean, both Craig Gillespie and James Gunn talking about it.
Yeah, and how we were talking about the whole
fantasy.
graphic novel thing, and talking about that, and
I mean, James Gunn literally says it's a space fantasy. And then Millie Alcock says at one point in this that every day on set it was like, okay, where are we now? Because they're literally jumping from planet to planet. So it does look like the movie being only an hour 50 minutes that it's gonna be going once it gets moving. They're going across multiple planets over the course of that time. So that sounds like the pacing won't be a problem. Hopefully. Hey, Markatna, how are you doing? Hype for the movie. I don't know, John, what else did you glean from this? Because you do get some behind the scenes looks at those aliens and stuff, which is really cool.
I like that
Safran
shot
talking
right there,
about it.
that where she's looking up and you have the, it looks cool. Looks great.
Yeah. I mean, I like Peter Safran says, we're not building planets, we're building a universe, which I'm like, like mic drop, Peter Safran, walk away, talk about Gorilla Grodd. But anyway, it's fun to see. So June 25th, you can go see it in the UK, which is the day before we get it in the US, unless you go to the previews on Thursday.
And let's move on because there's douchebags in the comments. Anyway, up and away, our iconic water tower had a heroic makeover for Supergirl. A huge shout out to our design studio and grip department teams for installing it high above the lot. And God knows we might not have that water tower any longer because the chode with lips has to be an asshole. So,
Well, no, I don't think he's selling the water tower. I think because Paramount's lot also has their own water tower, so they're both iconic. But yeah, it looks like they covered it up with the Supergirl banner, which is timely and yeah.
How are Yakko, Wacko, and Dot going to get out of the tower then?
They'll just open it up from the top. That's how they get out. Like it's when the door ain't available. Yeah, but Supergirl getting the spotlight, which is great. Good to see that. Not every movie they go up and put this banner up for the water tower. So doing this for Supergirl certainly means a lot because this is the big movie they're putting out this summer. So hopefully Warner Brothers will get the rewards for their faith in Supergirl. But let's keep going.
But next up, of course, Spotify and DC Studios launch in-app scavenger hunt and Supergirl character playlists because, of course, They gotta
Hey.
lean into the whole music side of things.
Hell yeah. The music sounds good for this movie so far. Every trailer, that one song they've used like in everything, but then it also seems like there's a couple other songs. They've released some of the soundtrack already. So I think everything so far has been good. There's nothing that's like, I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like the Guardians 2, I had a really mixed reaction to, but there is a bit of a scavenger hunt thing. There's clues and stuff going on. So if you are a Spotify person, then there's lots of Supergirl stuff you can get into.
I mean, Blondie's pretty great. So
yeah. I mean, the songs list sounds pretty fire, like Jalen is saying. You could already listen to some of those songs. So yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about more of where Supergirl has been on their promotional tour.
But Jim Lee posted this.
MTG.
Been around the universe, and there's no place like Rio. So talking about Brazil.
Oh, the cute doggy. Oh my god, I can't get over
Brazil.
that.
So hell yeah.
Millie Alcock looking very chic. Brazil was a big stop for them, but that's not the only place they've been to, John, because they are going to other places, including Japan. Somebody let crypto loose
Crypto
on
wrecking havoc in
Shibuya.
poor Japan.
Yeah, in Shibuya, he's wrecking havoc everywhere. Oh wow. Shibuya didn't know what hit him because crypto, flies so fast. Super cute. But yeah, if there's another clip here where they talk about the specific to Shibuya, what they're doing there, which you see here. So yeah, very much the promotional material is all over the city, and they did like a special event there for the fans, much like what they did in Brazil. So yeah, I appreciate this. I mean, maybe not every actor and filmmaker is making the rounds like they did for Superman, but this is still a great way of raising awareness locally in each of the markets and doing region-specific merchandise and stuff. So the fans come in, especially the super fans, and then you got all the influencers and creators going there, which they help spread your message as well. And get yourself a shirt, a hat, pair of slippers, hoodies. Wow, they got everything. Okay. Love to see it. Plushies, Harley Quinn, John. Harley Quinn plushie. Yeah, crypto lock screen sounds fantastic. Even got old like Dark Knight stuff. Yeah, Dark Knight, Joker, Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. No, I like some of that. Anyway, let's keep going before I go too far down the wrong rabbit hole.
That's it. She wins. Get your tickets for Supergirl now.
They basically made memes with a bunch of Olivia Rodrigo's songs.
That's no wonder I don't understand it. Cool.
It's Olivia Rodrigo's music. I figured it out, John, for you, just so that you
thank you,
didn't have to be lost.
This person, between this and the branded kombucha, I'm feeling personally targeted by the Supergirl marketing. I'm
saying, you know what? That means it's working. They got
you. It's working. That's good.
They got you. Yeah, get your tickets. They got you. Anyway, cool. I mean, look, they know there's gonna be a female leaning audience showing up to the movie. At least, that's primarily what they're aiming for, and so that's what the promotions reflect. But as you know, Olivia Rodrigo has some good music, so yeah.
Yeah, I just don't listen to it, so
I don't know if she has a song for the movie, but certainly, the social media teams got their stuff together.
And then Revolve.
You got to go through these photos, John. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
There you go. The more edgy Supergirl merch that you can apparel. That you
I don't even know what the fuck is Revolve. I don't even know what that is.
Go back. Jalen's trying to watch. Jalen's like, hot damn. There you go. There it is. Right there.
The only thing is, like, with models, every time I see a model, I'm just like, give her a sandwich or something. Like this poor woman's only had like air and like half a drop of water. Like, give her some food. But that's like the only thing I think about.
I don't know. It's like everybody has a healthy weight and appearance and whatnot, and I'm sure.
No, I mean, like, well, it's known how models are treated in the modeling industry.
Yes,
so that's why I always think of that. Like, that's just me.
Yeah.
Just like, damn. But she still looks. Hopefully, she's
Patrick.
That's what we can hope for.
Well, I'm sure the shoot paid really well.
Sexy Millie Alcock here, showing off for GQ. Yeah, and
boom.
Oof.
Millie Alcock for GQ. I remember Superman did a big GQ shoot too. David Cornsweet did a huge GQ shoot when the movie was coming out last summer. So GQ partnering up with Millie Alcock as well. Revolve will save Argo City. You know what? It could. It's possible. It's possible, MTG. Everything is possible. Anything is possible. All right. More.
And remember,
Supergirl times
self-care
Finch.
is super.
It's like a healthcare app or self-care app, apparently, this is.
Finch care. And you even have
Finch
Crypto
care.
there drinking a blue
Yeah.
slushy.
Yeah. John did not like Gal Gadot because her body.
No,
type.
I don't like Gal Gadot because she's a cunt and she's a Zionist. Fuck
Whoa.
that bitch.
Okay, all right, cool.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's not talk about
To
that.
answer your question, Patrick, about what needs to be done to win back the overseas market for comic book movies, I don't think it's one thing. It's just consistent quality and giving them something unique to go see, because it's with superhero fatigue in general, you can't keep making the same movies. You got to make some. Basically, audiences are more discerning, right? Because they've seen a thing or two at this point with superhero films. So you got to make something unique that they haven't seen yet. So I think that applies to domestic and international audiences as a whole. But yeah, let's keep going.
But
Speaking of
for Movie Maker Mag, digital cover and cover story for Supergirl and with.
Wait, did you
Craig
skip the
Gillespie.
Waymo one? I think you skipped one.
Nope.
Where'd the Waymo one go? It's in the rundown.
Maybe I missed that one. Hang on a sec. Let me see.
Hey, I like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and yes, John does.
Oh, I
get
must have
up
skipped.
for
I
a
was
Howard
probably
Hughes.
going so
Howard
fast that I
Hughes.
was just like, let me just get this done. So hang on a sec.
It's all good.
Hang on a sec. Let me.
But yes, there is a Waymo partnership. So if you live in a city in the U.S. where Waymos are running around town,
I don't
you
even
might
fucking
get
know what
Supergirl.
Waymo even is.
It's basically their autonomous driving taxis.
Oh, isn't this the one where it's like, oh yeah, we're actually autonomous, but they're actually run by like Indian dudes, like fucking,
No,
like...
it's not that. Well, they are autonomous, but they do get stuck every once in a while, like if there's like a weather thing or something, and then basically one of the customer service reps will take over and drive you to where you're going if it gets stuck. But they are autonomous. Like that's why I have like the radar and everything on top of them. And
I don't believe it.
I think they're in Austin. They're definitely in the Bay Area. There's a few cities around the country. There's been more of them recently where they've been licensed to run. So basically, there's the human driver in the car. Yeah, MTG, I agree with what you're saying there. I think that's part of what's going to drive audiences back to the theaters. Just bigger movies.
Drive audiences back?
Yeah.
With Waymo.
Okay, yeah. And then the Movie Maker Mag was
That's
actually
what I
kind of
heard. I've
significant.
heard Waymo kind of sucks. So,
yeah. Go to the Movie Maker Mag again for a second, because I got Craig Gillespie, Supergirl, Millie Alcock there. Good, not nice. I don't know if I don't know if you can get a physical copy of this, but that looks pretty cool. It's a digital cover.
This is the digital cover.
So yeah. If you're in the industry,
these are all the people, photography, styling, grooming, cover design, all that stuff. So.
Looks nice. I like it. Looks very, very chic, if that's the right word in this situation.
And the social media embargo, not the official critical one, just for the first reactions, which are probably going to be mainly positive.
Yep.
Because that's how first reactions usually are. So
that's what. So this was in the title of the show today, also part of the thumbnail. There's two embargoes with every movie. There's the social media reactions embargo, and then there is the reviews embargo. The reviews are like obviously the full reviews from critics, and then if you happen to see the movie early, whether you're a critic or a fan, like they did an early screening in LA, and I know like Watcher saw it and stuff. Basically, if you saw the movie already, the social media embargo prevents you from being able to talk about it in social media. They do restrict you from don't give any spoilers away. You can only keep it limited to a certain amount of words or whatever. Maybe there's a character limit, but basically, the social media embargo for Supergirl is dropping tomorrow, Thursday, June the 18th, which depending on when you're watching this might be today for you. So June 18th, we'll be talking about the Supergirl social media reactions on the next show, John. That's exciting. So we'll get a chance to talk about the movie and see what people are saying beyond just like the special screening reactions that we were getting from like the test screenings. So that sounds really, really cool. It's here, John. The movie's basically here, and I cannot be more excited. On tomorrow's show, we'll be talking about them. So,
and I like how this is very cute with Millie Alcock and Eve Ridley.
If you haven't already, go get your tickets. Get them now.
I did finally get tickets when I ran through everything with my parents. I'm like, hey, we need to get tickets because we're probably not going to see this opening weekend if we don't get them now. And they're like, okay, this is good for us. So we're seeing it on the early. So I managed to get the tickets for the early screening for Supergirl on the next Wednesday. So
I like her in this haircut too. She looks really cool. She looks really nice. And
I like the
perfect.
sunglasses. These are better sunglasses than the ones in the movie.
Well, those are like a very specific style. Like this is more of a more modernist, minimal design. But yeah, I love it. Well, Jalen's already proposing to Millie. So there you go. I'm sure there's.
That's the second proposal I think we've had on the show, because I think Tony tried to propose to Liz. At
he did. Liz is already metaphorically accepted, so there's that.
But puppies.
Hey, what? God, all these puppies showed up to the Supergirl premieres all over the world.
He got his puppy cut. He got his puppy cut just to meet Millie. That's what happened. No.
Oh god, that's a cutie. Oh my god, they're so cute.
But yeah, no, fuck that. No, I want puppy. Look at him. He looks so proper. He looks like such a good boy or girl.
Yep. I was like, I can just look at this all day long.
His fur kind of looks like a logo itself, but yeah.
It does. No, it's got the nice pattern going. And you know what? To address what you're saying, Patrick, yes, the social media embargo being lifted sooner than it originally was going to be lifted. That means the studio's hearing great things about the movie and what people are saying about it, which means that, look, it just means more likely than not, if the social media embargo is lifting more than a week before the movie comes out, then maybe the critics embargo will get moved up as well if the reactions are really good. The studio must be hearing really good things, so it's all good things for the movie itself. And when you got those cute doggies,
well, I mean, technically in the comics, Supergirl has Streaky the cat. She doesn't have Crypto, but
that's true. I mean, but like certain iterations, right? Like, and that's what they're leaning on now. So,
but we just don't talk about horses around with Supergirl, because we don't talk about that.
Yeah. I have two cats. Like, we talk about cats all the time. You see cats on the show all the time.
Talk about horses.
No, right, fair. I was talking about what Jalen was saying.
We don't talk about horses in Supergirl. Nope.
I hope they do bring Streaky in down the road, because I mean, while Crypto is Supergirl's dog, I don't know. Maybe there's some other way to bring cats into the cinematic. Maybe Catwoman eventually will have a cat or two. Yeah, indeed. All right, well, that's the Summer of Superman. Summer of Supergirl. I totally messed that up. I apologize. But the Summer of Supergirl is going strong. It's going strong, and John, that Revolve ad is going to live rent-free in yours.
No, I think Millie Alcock is just going to win. I can't even talk. Nope. Yeah, there we go.
It's got you all in a tizzy.
Speaking of more cat now. Speaking of cats, more cat is here.
Guys, please do hit the like button. I, again, really appreciate it. It does help get this show in front of more people. Hit the like, notification bell, when we go live. Hit subscribe. I know some of you guys, we're still not subscribed. Like, you guys are here every day. Might as well subscribe. But we'll be talking about the Supergirl social media reactions on tomorrow's show. I'm sure there'll be more Spider-Man talk, more fallout.
Vote for Jessica Cruz in the goddamn poll, you heathens. I don't want to fucking talk about soccer. Gross.
As of right now, I'll give you a live count. So it looks like as of right now, Jessica Cruz and Lobo are at 26% apiece. Martian Manhunter is 15%, but the FIFA World Cup star biopics are winning with 33%. The last few votes that came in, it looks like all went to, World Cup star biopics. So, but thank you for subscribing, MTG. I don't know why you didn't subscribe any earlier, but we appreciate it. All right. Well, with that said, we're heading towards the 150,000 subscriber mark, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Another episode of DCU Daily. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fantastic. It might even be blessed.
It's just a fucking stupid joke. All right, I know. Goddamn.
Rest in peace. Yeah, Comet. And on that note, stay blessed, stay curious. We'll see you tomorrow on DCU Daily.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka!
Fuck. fuck David Ellison, fuck Jeff Snyder, and fuck Tom King.